Today, we want to look back at the 5 strange decisions that Nintendo made that got us to where we are now with the Switch 2 launch. A lot has happened, but these are some pretty significant things that Nintendo did that were really weird that kind of led to the unfortunate place we are in now.
Yes, we're right around a week away from the big reveal of the Switch 2. Time flies. Can you believe it's been 1 week?
I know.
And it is interesting to look back now on how did we get to this point where, yes, there's a new console, there's some great new games, but people are not really talking about that. They're talking about all of these other things that are not good for Nintendo, don't put the system in the best light. So I do think this is a case that this is going to be in the history books later on.
I think so.
And we can do kind of a 1 week post-mortem of this almost. Of how did we get to here 1 week later, not even knowing where things are going to go next?
Things are moving so fast. Like that 1 week felt like a lifetime, because of all of the things that were just cascading, the cascading effect of things happening within that week. It's just been really wild. But I do think a lot of really unprecedented, significant things took place. And Nintendo's reaction to those things and also their own decision making and their own thought process and strategy was a very interesting chemistry experiment. Yes. And it just really led to something that was very different than what we expected.
There are a couple unfortunate things that happened that were out of their control.
Right.
But most of the things that happened were within their control.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what exactly those things are.
Yeah, and I think what we want to dig into too is how they got themselves to make that decision, because we have been there, we were there when they made good and bad decisions about other significant, launches in their history, and sometimes they can talk themselves into some weird stuff. So while this is not super, super shocking to us, it is very interesting to examine what might have been going on in the minds of the Nintendo leadership team.
Been trying to think, what was the previous, while that week was crazy, that happened most recently? Because this is up there in terms of, I literally don't know what's going to happen next. Oh my gosh, these things are colliding.
Yeah, the world, the events of the world
I'm
have
shocked
collided.
And stunned by every new thing that happens.
I think the only thing that, and it doesn't really even come close to this at all, but in terms of there are real world things happening, was when there was that huge earthquake in Japan.
Oh, the Japan earthquake.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
that was 2011, I believe.
Yeah, that was that made for it was tragic, but also a very uncertain situation. And then I do remember a few moments in the pandemic where it was wow. But that was the world. We all didn't know what was happening next then.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the earthquake one's interesting because that was far enough away that the speed of information was not quite as fast. But I remember we were at a PAX East and there was a rumor that Satoshi Tajiri, who created Pokemon, had died in
passed away in the earthquake.
I had to seek out the Pokemon people who were there to debunk that with them. So that was interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of things debunked that we need to debunk here.
I would say for me, the week of Animal Crossing launching in 2020, as the pandemic was kicking into high gear.
That was pretty tough.
And GameStop was oh, we're an essential business, we must stay open. And the eShop went down several times that week. And it was just everything is converging
into this one
in a really
fever pitch,
weird and kind of bad way, and I'm just very destabilized and disoriented.
Yes.
Obviously, this one, lives are not on the line in the same way, but it is just whoa, you can get caught up in the swirl of all of this real easy.
Yeah, it's interesting when things like this collide with real world issues too. It just makes it feel so much more personal and just significant, because you're my life is being impacted in so many other ways beyond me not being able to enjoy the latest entertainment. There's so many other things impacting my life, and it just makes everything that Nintendo is doing here just feel really personal. So I do think that psychology has worked into how people have been reacting and feeling too. So again, very interesting. Yeah, good comparison with the pandemic. Definitely kind of feels like one of those natural disaster kind of situations, unfortunately. So
I want to ask, do you like it when information moves that fast, or do you like to get a chunk and get it some time to really think through it and process it before the next thing comes?
No, I like it fast.
You like it fast? I like it fast too.
but I'm a consumer of information. I love like consuming stuff.
Right.
As much as I'm like a Kirby, you know, I kind of suck in all the stuff. Like that's how I just consume everything, though, whether it's good or bad news. Like you and I joke around all the time how when we watch a TV show, for example, we just finished watching White Lotus. No spoilers here, don't worry. Yeah. But like the way that we enjoy that kind of content is not even like watching the 1 hour of the show, is consuming like everything piece of information around it possible. That's how we play games too. So I think I'm that kind of person where like if I'm interested in something, I want you to like fire hose it at me. Like I want all of it all at once. Just give it to me and I'll parse through it myself, but I just want it, you know?
Yeah, that's why like some of the news is not good, but it has been like interesting and like I will admit like somewhat enjoyable for me to just like
take in.
Always something new happening, something new, a new angle to think about or consider that is like changing the direction of where it's all headed.
Yeah, I really have not stopped thinking about any of this stuff, you know, for the past 7 days or however long it's been going on. Like I think about it all the time. I'm like making dinner and I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. Or, or like I'm eating breakfast and like, oh, I'm going to watch this Doug Bowser interview and see what he says.
And,
like,
so just today, the Canadian pre-orders got impacted.
Yeah, I saw that.
On the backs, obviously, of the U.S. pre-orders. So again, like you just don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen at any time.
Yeah. It's a little exciting, even though
interesting place to be.
A lot of the news is quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I'm like staring down the face of paying, you know, thousands of dollars at this point, potentially for a Switch 2, even if I can get one kind of situation. So those are some dire future
road trip
to Canada,
Mexico. Where can we go to get a Switch 2?
I don't know if it would be cheaper.
We're going south of the border for a Switch 2.
And a taco?
Yeah, let's do that too. I'd like that too.
Okay.
In any case, we have been making videos nonstop at a maniacal pace. With the same pace of the news coming out. We've had, I think, more videos in the past week than days have transpired.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to list them all out, but if you would like to scroll through our channel or our podcast feed, we've been putting them there too.
Yeah.
You can check it out. I'll also give a plug. If you are ever interested in early access on our podcast, now is the time to do it. Get this stuff while it's fresh. And the good news is, the tier that gets the early access is also available for a 1-week free trial.
That's true.
So that at the end of my plug, we'll plug Patreon later. That is the end of this plug for Patrons. Like, get the stuff while it's fresh.
I want to say a huge thank you to the Patreon supporters. Because they've been with us for, you know, over 3 years now. They were here when the channel was just in its baby form. And there were some shaky moments last year where we were like, oh gosh. No. It's not going great right now.
We're on month 4 of Princess Peach Showtime coverage.
Yeah, and I was getting increasingly more angry as we put her in more cowgirl outfits. And the Patreon people were there thick and thin. It's like a marriage till death do us part, right, guys? And now, you know, obviously with all of the stuff going on with Switch 2, we've gotten so many more people within our community. So many people have found us again from the Nintendo Minute Days. It's lovely to see
those
all
are always
of you.
Amazing.
We love you guys. We're so glad you're here again.
The Nintendo Minute 3DS gang. Watching under the covers so your parents cannot find you.
Raise your hands if you're there.
Before you had access to YouTube.
I love it. I love all of it. It's just wonderful to see you guys and just to get the support from you guys as well. So that's my plug. Anyways.
People have been waiting
on pins and needles
to find out about the April spoiler cast game, which we're going to reveal right here. We couldn't do it last week. I think we decided last week what it was going to be.
We had a revelation.
But last week it was just nonstop. That was like the day that the Switch 2 was revealed. It's like we don't have time to talk about anything else. We got focus. Right. So we can reveal it. Many options on the table. Many big games. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Assassin's Creed. Some people were talking about, you know, some retro games. Like, is now the time to do a Wind Waker spoiler cast?
Yeah.
It's none of the above, actually.
What is it?
The game is Split Fiction.
Woohoo!
We are doing it. Coming to the Switch 2, by the way, launch game.
Yes, it is.
That's fortuitous for us, I guess.
Yeah. We actually have played some of this game already. We have gameplay videos for Split Fiction available on the channel and also as a Patreon exclusive. We've both really enjoyed what we played, and I think it's going to be so fun for us to do this game because we've been waiting for an excuse for us both to get back to playing it together as well. So I'm excited about this, and the game does have a really fun story. So I think it's perfect. Really, really jazzed about Split Fiction.
Yeah, it's kind of a rare thing that we can do a spoiler cast where we're sharing the same game experience.
That's right.
In the moment together. I don't think there's too many games where we could do that for the entirety of the game.
True. What a good point.
We're going to be playing some of it tonight. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
I know.
And yeah, it is nice that game's coming to the Switch too. I think it's a perfect fit for that. And again, don't rule out some of those other games, some of those longer games. Xenoblade, I don't know. We're still playing that. We're going to talk about that. Assassin's Creed, we're still playing that. We're playing a lot of games right now.
Yeah, we definitely are not.
We are at our limit for games.
Yeah.
We're at our limit for a lot of things, actually.
Yeah, we are excited too because I think even some of the other games you brought up, like Wind Waker and stuff like that, we were thinking like we definitely want to do some gameplay videos around those.
Yes.
At least. So a lot of options, a lot of fun stuff that we can get ourselves into this month. But yes, really excited I'm just excited that we're going to get to play more Split Fiction because I've been bugging you like, can we get back to this game? And I know we've been playing other stuff.
Yes.
I'm excited about it.
So that'll be out around the end of the month.
Yes.
So as they say, please look forward to it.
Yes, please do.
Krysta, did you know that April is Financial Literacy Month?
Oh.
Well, that's great news because this episode is sponsored by Acorns.
Thank you, Acorns.
And it is interesting that of all the important things that we learn in school, financial literacy is not really one of them.
Yet, it is kind of the most important thing you need to know when you become
an extremely important life skill as an adult. And I think this just goes through your entire life. I spoke on a podcast a while back about how I had a near catastrophic budgeting snafu with a Super Mario Brothers event that went over budget by tens of thousands of dollars.
Oopsie.
Oops, that's where some financial literacy could have come into effect for me.
Yeah.
But no, this is where Acorns comes in. They recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you and your goals, and you can just work with what you have to start with the spare money that you've got right now. Even if all you've got is spare change, that's no problem. It's a place for you to start.
That's what I really like about Acorns is that you don't have to be like, Mark Zuckerberg or something like that to start to gain, some financial literacy or start to invest your money. You can just start with what you got. And a lot of times I feel like people think about financial investments as something very intimidating and out of reach for them, but it really isn't, and it's a really easy way for you to get started. And look, we're all gonna need some.
Now's the time.
We're all gonna need some money.
Now's the
coming up. We might need to save some money for some
reasons.
stuff.
Yes.
So I am into this. Even if I can just save a little bit at a time, I have a couple months to build up a little bit of a nest egg for my potential June purchases. So I'm into this.
Right, and I love that it does not take a long time to get started. You can set up a new account in 5 minutes, and then Acorns does all the hard work from there, giving your money a chance to grow. So that is wonderful. So sign up now and join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/KitandKrysta or download the Acorns app to get started. Here comes a disclaimer. Paid non-client endorsement compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/KitandKrysta.
Wow.
Deep breath.
We're going to put the link here and a QR code and in the description below.
All right. The top 5 strange, baffling, weird decisions that Nintendo made. Guess what? It's actually 6.
Secret Decision 6 is at the
Love to over-deliver.
Manage your expectations, but over-deliver.
Yes. So where do you want to begin with this? I think we both had a clear consensus number 1 on this list.
Yeah, we started to feel a little bit weird immediately coming off of the high of that fantastic Nintendo Direct. I mean, I think I gave that Direct an A-.
We did the poll.
Yeah.
Most people gave it an A.
I personally gave it a high score.
Yeah.
You gave it a very high score. We came out of that Direct hyped for some games. And then immediately we were weirded out. As I was editing that reaction video, I was like texting you on the side. I was like, did they announce a price? What is the price of this thing? And there was, I could tell just as I was trying to do my work, like just the barrage of confusion and energy and conversation that was just like blasting through the internet, that, you know, price was not in the direct, but buried in some press releases, some other places. And
but not everything was even in one place.
That's right.
It was like the press release had the price for the system. The price of Mario Kart being $80, I think that was
buried on a
website. The Switch edition, the Switch 2 edition upgrades.
Non-existent.
Like, we even just recently, I think we're still gathering information.
We're still gathering information on that.
I think there's still some of those where it's like we don't exactly know.
Yeah, who knows how much the Kirby one is? Do we know the answer to that?
Or like Metroid Prime 4, like, do we know that?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Mario Party Jamboree.
I'm not sure. And again, I think it's bad if people like us who are just like hoovering down information, we're like, I'm not sure if I am clear on that or have seen that.
Yeah.
That's not great.
And Welcome Tour, which should have been a pack-in but wasn't, that price didn't get revealed until
right. That was in the follow-up interviews. Although it seemed like Japan had a price up much sooner, so there's just like no consistency.
Yeah.
And it just didn't get. It just seems like it was not treated like a priority piece of information. Like, oh no, people need to know this. We should put it up front, which leads to people having conspiracy theories of like. Did they do this on purpose to try and make it hard? Just like, don't worry about that. Look over here. Look at this cool shiny new Switch 2. Isn't it cool? Don't you want it? Don't worry about that.
Yeah, totally. I think it was kind of a 1-2 punch where, one, they weren't really clear about it in that Nintendo Direct, which is supposed to be a place where you're supposed to directly get all the key information about this new system. So that was already kind of weird and baffling. And then the second punch being that all the information was in so many different places. And yeah, to your point, even some regional differences, some confusion. I mean, there was confusion, again, regionally around physical games versus digital games. That became a huge confusing talking point where it was in like 90 pounds was a physical version, 80 pounds was
oh my gosh
was the digital version.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it was a 1-2 punch of weirdness decision making on Nintendo's part. One, not including information directly in that Nintendo Direct, and secondly, making it so difficult for people to actually find the real factual information around price.
I still don't know why they haven't added some sort of like a mega FAQ to their website. It feels like that would go a long way of like your many Switch 2 questions answered in just a very straightforward way.
And you know what the funny thing about
it? They can still do it.
Yes.
Still time.
Maybe by the time
free idea.
Maybe by the time this podcast is out on Thursday to everybody, it will already be up. And if so, we can give Nintendo a round of applause for doing something. But I was going to say the funny thing is about an FAQ is they actually already have the answers because they made a Q&A for those interviews. So they just need to kind of re-edit that a little bit, maybe not even at all. Because those questions in the Q&A are written for public consumption.
We've also seen some people resorting to calling customer service to get clarity on information. Not necessarily a pricing thing, but like what's included on the game card if I buy this.
Right.
It doesn't seem like that's the right step to put your customers through to get clear information about the basic information of your system.
Yeah, you're like on hold with like the Nintendo helpline or something.
Thank goodness they know.
Do they know?
I'm not sure.
That was the
I'm not sure if they know either.
You know, I think part of this baffling decision regarding like sort of almost cloak and daggering the communication is I kind of think this is happening on the inside too.
Yes.
Where this thing was so secretive, like we were talking about, like it was under so many disclosures and there was such a tight group of people working on it that maybe that Q&A didn't get distributed.
Yeah, you needed somebody whose job who probably was not at that event, who was like, okay, come the moment this direct ends, you're in charge of distributing this information to all of these people who need it, and they know that it's coming, and they know and they know what they need to do with it. So it's like, hey, website team, you're going to get this information, and you need to plaster it everywhere and have it up clearly. Hey, customer service, when you get a phone call, here's the answer.
This is the answer. Everyone say the same answer.
Exactly. Exactly. All of that.
Yeah, I don't feel that that's the case, and I would love someone to run an experiment when you call the customer service and then you call again.
Quiz them. them.
and see if they give you the same answer.
Quiz them on this
Whoever
stuff
wants
and
to take up the mantle
to
do that and then tell us your results in the comments, I would love you for that. That'd be so interesting to see.
Call collect. Can you still do that? Can you make a collect call these days?
Okay, how old are you?
Have you ever done? I've actually never done that.
No.
You're not like trapped on the side of some freeway. Mama, I need help. Like call and collect.
Call collect?
I don't know.
Are you joking
I don't even know what that means. That was something that I would like hear on a TV show.
I think it was like, yeah.
You can do that?
The movies or whatever.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyways, small departure there.
Yeah, so that was baffling decision number one, and definitely got my radar up because it was such a dramatic shift in people's mood.
Yes.
It was like the direct aired at 6 a.m., right? 5 a.m.? 6 a.m.
You woke up at 5 a.m.
I woke up really early. I don't even remember. And then ended at 7. Everyone came out of it going, oh my gosh,
amazing.
Wow, amazing.
Right.
So many great games. Look at this game. Wow. And then I feel like 5 minutes elapsed, maybe. And then everyone was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And it just came crashing down. So if they're, if they had talked themselves into, and I can see them talking themselves into this, where they're like, we got to keep people focused on the games. Don't distract them with the bad news, which is things are very expensive. Like, let's make sure that everyone is just like really excited about the games that they see in the direct. I can see them talking themselves into that. But you're going to have to announce it, and if you do in the press release minutes after this thing airs and people are going to find it, and then leaves you no way to control the narrative, then isn't that worse?
Yes. So we have seen some people pushing back on this idea. So let's debunk some of that.
Yeah.
People were saying, well, there was some question about, did they think a tariff was coming, so they were hedging their bets by not putting it in the direct. They still put it in the press release that went out the moment
so that rumor is false.
All that information mostly went up. It was just like spread to the wind in all of these different places.
But they were on Nintendo's official channels.
Yes, it was there. So it's not like, we'll announce it later. It was like, no, we're still announcing it. We're just doing it in a weird way. I've seen people also saying like, well, there's only one Nintendo Direct, so why are they just going to have a page with, dollars, yen, euros, all of this? It's like, no. First of all, that's not how these things work. There are different versions of the Direct for every region.
Yes.
So you absolutely, and we have seen them do this before, you can absolutely have in the English language version for our region, here is the price in US dollars.
They did it during the Switch announcement video where for the US region, you got a slate that said, these hands-on events are happening in these US cities.
Right.
So that's debunked.
Right. There was no real good reason for them not to do this.
Correct.
Which makes it one of our top 5 mystifying decisions that they did.
So do you think that they talked themselves into it for that reason? That they thought that price was going to be such a huge distraction to the games, the great games or whatever? Do you think that's how they got there? How did they end up in that situation?
Well,
like,
you could argue
I would have raised my hand if I was there. I'd be like, guys, I don't think we should do this.
I think I would take less issue with it again if they just had a one clean everywhere or in the press release detail everything and somewhere. Listen, regular people should not have to read a press release.
That's true.
A press release is not meant for regular people.
Yeah.
People do not need to see Eddie Garcia's contact information at Golan, okay? That should not be out there. Leave that man alone.
Don't call him.
That man is stressed out, okay? That man is doing, in Reggie's words, yeoman's work to the max, okay? So it's like, I think it's bad that people have to go through, like, oh, I'm on Business Wire now. It's like, no.
You shouldn't be on Business
Wire.
This
is a bad sign. This is not for you. This is for the media.
Yeah, like on their website, there should have been, they had a great one sheet that detailed the price for like all of the accessories.
Uh-huh.
Like, couldn't you have not added that to
Adds everything else on
else that you had announced?
Right. So again, if it was easily available there, or if they had started, tweeting out or something on Nintendo Today, their hot new channel with that information, if they had it all in one place, I don't think I would take as much issue with it. It was the fact that it was so scattered and disorganized.
Yeah.
That's where I take the issue.
Yeah, but how do you think they got there with their decision making? How did they get to a place where, oh, well, who cares? They'll find it. We'll just put it everywhere. We don't need to put it in one centralized place. How do you think they got there?
I think with all of these things, it's a number of factors. I do think it came down to the very limited number of people. Because look, we didn't get leaks from this. There were not leaks leading up to this. Like, this was one of the, like, hey, 5 people know in each region and nobody else will know until then. And you get blind spots when you have something that's that small. Because later on, we're going to talk about, what, did they really know that the price was going to be that big of an issue? So I don't think it was just that.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a whiff of that, but I think there were many other factors in play as well.
Yeah. I do think also, and we talked about this a little bit, like there does seem to be this like gap of someone at Nintendo in a leadership position that's really advocating for the consumer experience. Like whether it is like, hey, this might cause some sticker shock for consumers, or hey, don't the consumers deserve to have all this information in one place? Like there's not really that person that is like kind of raising their hand in every meeting and like voicing these things. Everyone's just kind of locked into this very like echo chamber siloed mindset where they're like so focused on the announcement, so focused on not leaking stuff, so focused on just the general pressure of launching new hardware, which is significant. But if you don't have someone like actively fighting and raising their hand and saying like, but wait, won't someone be confused if this happens? What about people on the outside? What would they think when they see it like this? I think it easily gets like overlooked.
Yeah, and look, so I was there for one of these situations for the announcement, the first announcement of Tears of the Kingdom, when it was just the sequel to Breath of the Wild. And I was one of the 5 people that knew about it. And the situation is, most of those people are very high-level executives. And they don't necessarily have the view of, hey, here's kind of the boots on the ground work that needs to happen. Here's the key info that we always convey that we need to convey. So again, these blind spots can happen when you're in a situation like that and everything is under super locked. The one person who does know, who is responsible for executing and passing, they need to be the one asking those questions. Like, hey, you haven't told me the price. Or, hey, have we talked about where the price is going? Because we should put that front and center. And it's a lot to put on one person who's probably juggling 20 other things.
1,000 other responsibilities and just trying to keep afloat, get the work done.
Yes.
The other thing is that, like, I totally see what you're saying about, like, these people are really high up and they have, other responsibilities. But there is a sense of, like, being out of touch.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's like if you were a good leader, you would make a real effort to be in touch by always talking to the people that are boots on the ground. I'm not sure what's going on over there, but it really feels like there's a huge disconnect between what the community, the fans, the customer is saying and feeling and reacting to versus like these kinds of decisions.
Yeah, and I think we've all been around people who are so rich that like they don't even think about how much something costs when they buy it. It's just like, oh, I just want it, so I'm just going to buy it. So again, like for some people, like the discussion of a price is so like non-consequential. It's like, well, I'm going to buy it. $400, how much is it? I'll buy it. It doesn't matter. It's immaterial to me. And again, like if those are the people who are like crunching, like grinding out the decisions of like, oh my gosh, where and how do we display the price?
It's not such a relevant thing in their everyday lives.
It's kind of a trivial thing.
Yeah, so they think it's a trivial thing for
It's like when I ask you how much a gallon of milk costs.
I don't drink milk.
Oh, good save. You're lactose intolerant. Okay.
I am.
Okay, that's news to me.
I can tell you how much oat milk is, and it's pretty expensive.
Oh boy. Let's move on. Our next thing is, and this is an interesting one.
Yeah, this is one where I feel like it's, kind of like not completely in Nintendo's control, but it's around these tariffs.
Right, so the tariffs.
Yeah.
So they did have the extremely unfortunate circumstance of the same day that they were revealing the system, all of these tariffs worldwide got unveiled and were particularly harsh on the countries where the Switch 2 is being made. We are not downplaying that. You cannot diminish that. That is like a really just all-time unlucky thing to have happen.
It was really unfortunate for them because it literally happened the same day, and the information around those very scary percentages around tariffs was coming out mere hours after their reveal. So yeah, I do feel really bad that was kind of what they had to deal with in the moment. But they did know, though.
The idea of tariffs have been talked about for months. There have been some tariffs that have been floated for certain things or certain places. Mm-hmm. Nobody could be shocked that, a tariff happened. I couldn't fathom that happening. No, the specter of tariffs was looming. Yeah. So again, you could argue if this is your, once every 10 years business reset that is really going to either make or break your business for the next decade, you need to be prepared for every possible scenario. So I do have to push on a little bit and say, could they have kind of tariff-proofed their plan a little bit more than they did, where they're at the point where now they have to pull back on pre-orders and there's all this, is the price going to go up? Again, there's just more uncertainty that is out there, and I just wonder, could they have just
tighten that strategy a little bit?
And the discussion is, if this happens the day that we announce it, what happens? Or how are we pricing this so that if this happens in the 2 months between when we announce it, what are we doing? Because they seem to have been caught with their pants down a little bit on this.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, we're not diminishing the fact that this is extremely unlucky for them, and parts of the situation was definitely outside of their immediate control. But yeah, if I were them and I was about to launch a new console in this world where these tariffs were very uncertain and you didn't know what the outcome might be, wouldn't you take the responsibility in the months leading up to this to literally go through every possible scenario?
Let me give you a lower stakes example. When we were doing events that were outside, at a certain point, somebody would always ask, "What is your rain plan?"
Yeah.
And
the rain plan.
50% of the time, the person didn't have one and would have to go figure out a rain plan.
Yeah.
And guess what? A lot of the times it rained at those events. Mostly the events that I was managing.
Very unlucky.
I was unlucky for a long time with rain.
You were blacklisted from my events for a long time.
Unprecedented run of rainy day events.
But you were good at the rain plan.
Right.
I would ask you, what was your rain plan?
But it's
for mine.
You can't just wish away that this thing is going to happen. It is, we all know, it can rain. We have been hearing for the past 6 months, tariff, I'm going to do it, here comes a tariff. So when the tariff happens, you can't be completely blindsided by it.
Exactly. So I would have thought, and maybe it is, I don't know. But the response to the tariff makes me question if it was that they had a solution or some kind of strategy based on all different tariff scenarios. It seemed really messy that you would announce pre-orders and then cite tariffs as the reason to pull those back.
Yeah.
Hours, maybe a day later, right? So that just seems really sloppy. It feels confusing, and it feels like you were not buttoned up with these different tariff scenarios.
Yeah, and they did say in the interviews, Doug Bowser did say that the $450 price was not factoring tariffs. Whether, to the extent that we believe that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how forthcoming they want to be on that answer.
Right.
But again, maybe there's a way you could hedge your bets, or maybe you just say, you know what, if the tariff comes, we're just going to grit our teeth and eat it because that's the right thing to do for the consumer.
Yeah.
And we need this to be a really clean launch for us. Nintendo's got billions of dollars in the bank.
They made a lot of money during the Switch era.
You can make an argument the most important thing is to get that thing in the people's houses so they can start buying those games. Because that's where you're going to make it all back up. And then some, with the things being $80.
Right. And the other thing, too, is maybe the most important thing is not the price up front, and maybe you do take a loss from it. Maybe the most important thing is to transition your 150 million audience.
Right, and make sure your most passionate fans are having a positive experience, which they are definitely not now. It's been a complete flip-flop where people are really down on Nintendo. And again, versus obsessing over oh my gosh, my profit margin, I'm going to get crushed on my profit margin. It's that's not typically a Nintendo way of that's a short-term decision.
That's why this is weirding me out so much. It's a very un-Nintendo decision to me.
Yeah.
I can't fathom this. If we were there, and we were there during lots of good and bad launches, from 3DS to Wii U to Switch, and everything in between, I'm just thinking back to those discussions when things were good, things were bad. And like that consumer experience was always really top of mind. And like even in like the sad Wii U days, like they were trying, or even in like the early days of Switch, like making sure that it was a success. They were like doing some stuff to make sure to really combat some of these failings that they're, falling into now, some of these pitfalls where it's like we are really prioritizing like very business kind of shareholdery kind of decisions, like margins and profits and things like that at the expense of just kind of really like losing all your loyal audience.
Right, like that would have been a move akin to the Iwata salary cut of like, hey, Americans, we're just going to take that hit so that you can get this at the same price. Like, you're looking at the price a completely different way then. You're like, oh my gosh, they're actually doing me a huge solid here. Now I'm so thankful that I can get it and I'm not paying $600 or $700.
Right.
It's a completely different thing versus now like they've like retreated to like crunch the numbers and talk to an accountant.
Like working it out on that abacus or something?
It's like the CFO will decide,
Yeah. And also people are saying like, well, who cares? Like, who cares if the pre-orders are not in the US? We're still getting pre-orders in all the other regions. Well, guess what? The U.S. is Nintendo's largest region.
It does seem like a lot of this kind of uncertainty and negativity is a worldwide thing as a result.
True. Yeah, and even the tariff stuff, like yes, it's very focused on the U.S. audience, but a lot of people seem to be like, either they have their own sort of price horror stories to tell in other regions, or it's very much like, this kind of affects all of us. But
absolutely,
the U.S. is a huge region for Nintendo, so they really can't quite literally afford to like lose this region.
Yeah. Next, let's talk about Mario Kart World. And again, this sticker shock of the $80 price tag, which is still there. They have gently started to address that in the interviews, saying, there's an unprecedented amount of content. Talking about their variable pricing strategy and all of that. But I think the one thing that really would have helped people feel better about this is to have more information about the game. For what we got, when we saw that in the Direct, we were like, oh my gosh, this looks great.
This game looks amazing.
But when you see the $80 price tag, and you have to like reevaluate the
You're doing the calculations.
You're doing the equation in your mind. Like, wait, does this add up to an 8 to 8, which I've never really paid before.
For a base game.
In the modern era for a base game, I might need to think a little bit harder about that.
Yeah.
And
it's a psychological thing, really. Like I don't think anyone is, saying that how can you charge $8 for a game that looks so bad? It's not that. I think we all universally agree that Mario Kart World looks really nice. The stuff that they've shown so far seems exciting, but they're leaving a lot of room for people to do that internal calculation of like, well, what do you need to put in this game for me to tell myself that $80 is worth the price? And since Nintendo is not telling us that, your mind immediately jumps to, well, nothing you can do will make me pay $80.
Right.
So it's really unfortunate how that is like
people
rubbing off on the game.
People naturally have to have the debate based on the information that you have, which is, of course, incomplete. And with any sort of debate, there's going to be multiple different opinions, and some of those are going to rise to the top. And the general vibe of uncertainty is all pervasive.
Yeah.
So let's take that point of view. And I'm not surprised at all that that's a very popular. Like, well, I might wait and see.
Yeah.
And so they do have this Mario Kart World Direct coming on April 17th next week.
Yes.
Which, again, in the moment, it's like, oh wait, that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we're not going to have to wait long. Now
it's like every day that ticks by, I'm like...
Now it's a crushing weight as people get more and more annoyed.
Not only a crushing weight, but the pressure and expectation that Direct needs to clear now is unreal.
Right.
Like
so
how much does this Direct need to impress you and the rest of the people waiting on pins and needles to see if it's worth the price for it to make it worth the price?
Yeah, it would be an unusual move, but what if the Mario Kart Direct was on April 4th? Literally the next day.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like the lack of self-awareness is really loud here, where, we're going to say it's $80 and we're going to give you a little bit of information. And again, I don't know what the logic they're expecting people to go, where they're just going to be fine with that.
Yeah.
With that little bit of information. That does look good, but is very limited.
Yeah, and the thing that I feel like what they did to talk themselves into it, though, I can hear the conversations in my head right now. It's like, we know that this is a pretty, big price to ask for this game. It's unprecedented. Nobody in the industry has ever done that for a base game. But as soon as they see what we show in the Direct, people will get it. And then we'll follow it up if there's any sort of like questioning about the price with those Treehouse Lives.
Which those did start the next day, and they did multiple segments on it.
They did multiple, but here's where that thinking fails, is where they don't show you any new information in the Treehouse Live. They just expand on the information that they already gave you in the Direct.
Right.
So that even though they're giving you more extended gameplay, they're showing you, those different modes in a little bit more detail, the scope that you're seeing of the game remains the same as what you saw in the Nintendo Direct. And this $80 price tag, everyone's question is, well, what is the scope of this game? If it's what I saw on this Direct, that's not enough for me to pay $80.
Right.
And so that Treehouse Live honestly didn't do much to change people's opinion on whether or not Mario Kart World is worth the price.
Yeah, if you thought it looked great, it continues to look great.
Yeah, and if you like those modes, you continue to get those modes.
And if you were still skeptical about or upset about the price, you're probably still in that camp then.
Exactly. So they could have pivoted a bit and said, hey, we're not really changing people's minds here. There's still a lot of questions. There's still a ton of negativity. This is our marquee title for this console. This is the launch game for Switch 2. This is the Breath of the Wild to Switch 1 for Switch 2. We need to make this work. We need to get people on board so they feel justified in their paying for this game. What can we do? We have all this information that we've been saving for this Direct that we think will really get people on board. Let's just release it early. Let's find a way to change it up so that we can get this information out to them earlier and really turn the tide of this discussion. But because they're so inflexible in the way that they kind of react to these things, it's like, well, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to sit on our hands until April 17th. I guess that's what we're doing.
There is just this kind of, that mindset of like, well, now we're going to wait for this. Now we're going to wait for that. And you think that that is the backstop that will put a stop to it. But again, it's like Donkey Kong just running through the wall. Like the Kool-Aid Man, like he just keeps going. Like the negativity and the upsetness about the price just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more powerful with everything. So I hope that the April 17th Direct.
Oh, man.
But at this point,
can there be anything at this point?
The shouts of drop the price are so big and so loud. I don't think that those can be completely put to bed. I don't know what kind of a game that you could show that would wow people so much that after 2 weeks of shouting drop the price, they're going to say, oh, I'm good actually. I'm going to buy it.
That's the thing. You let people stew.
Yes.
You let people. We have been sitting in the stew of our drop the price soup.
Right.
For like 2 weeks, right? At that point of the Direct. And people are so like, they've dug their heels in now.
Yeah.
So much. And honestly, like people are like, now they're like, I can't budge. I can't budge on this because that makes me look like a weak consumer.
And also, and again, this is where they're kind of like in an unfortunate position in the moment. Like this game in particular and the Switch 2 overall has become the avatar for the general like financial instability that everybody is like a little nervous about right now. Where it's like, oh, this is this cool new thing that's maybe a little expensive, and I'm getting worried about being able to afford that with everything that's going on. So you project a lot of your anxieties.
That's what I was saying.
And anger onto that.
At the beginning too, is like everyone here, all of us, we're all feeling like the looming, scary financial situation, especially here in the U.S. We've seen like scarily things of very like normal stuff like eggs and gas and whatever go way up like in a crazy way. And when you think about it, you're like, well, I gotta pay rent and I gotta like eat. So how can I afford to like spend, extra money on like fun and entertainment? It becomes like so personal and so tied to your like financial needs for survival that I think people are having an even more sort of like negative
emotional
reaction to it.
Right.
Whereas in other situations, if everyone was doing great and everyone had jobs and we were all feeling very stable, you might have a different response.
Which makes it hard for solely Nintendo to solve.
Yeah.
But again, there were plenty of things that they could have done.
This is a landscape they should have been aware of, though.
Yes.
Yes, they can't solve the world's financial problems, but they're launching this in a landscape that they understand.
Yes.
Right.
So this kind of dovetails into our next thing, which is really not addressing any of these issues in the moment as they were popping up. And again, you talked about the strategy of like, oh, wait for Treehouse Live, wait for this. They had these interviews that were coming up, wait for that. Mm-hmm. And none of those have been working. All of those have felt either ineffectual or too late or not really targeted to the problem at hand. And again, we've talked about this dynamic of the war room, which they had in a big way at this event that they had in New York, where all the key decision makers were there. They had people, they had Mr. Takahashi, they had Mr. Koizumi, we heard. Stephen Totillo told us that.
Yeah.
Everybody you need to help you make a fast decision is there.
That can push a decision through the quickest approvals you can have.
Didn't happen. They did get the pre-order delay out. That's kind of like a beyond emergency situation. Great. That's the one thing that you can talk about. But look at all the channels that they have for addressing something in the moment to kind of head it off. They were doing 2 days of Treehouse Live. It's like, no, we're just going to pretend that people are not shouting drop the price for 6 hours at a time. They have now Nintendo Today. That's a thing. Instead of me, they're showing me a silhouette of Mario and asking me who it is.
They're spelling banana wrong.
Yeah, they're misspelling banana. Great. I love this. They've got all the social media channels with all this reach. Might have liked to have a podcast in that moment. I'm just saying. Nintendo Power Podcast. Where were you?
Nintendo Power Podcast.
Where were you?
R.I.P.
Imagine like Doug Bowser is sitting down with Chris Slate to ask the most softball questions, but still touching upon some of these hot button issues.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something.
It's something.
We've seen that their messaging is not completely outstanding on some of these things, but at least you're not having people don't have to wait 5 days to hear it, and it's we're kind of progressing things a little bit. It's something. It's better than doing nothing.
Exactly. They do have lots of different avenues to get information out and to just address the concerns, and we joke around a lot about the reporting that happens during these kinds of moments and all the time at Nintendo, but especially during these kinds of really key moments when they're doing something big. They're getting reports on the hour.
You could get trapped
on the situation at hand.
And we've seen this happen where you get trapped in the reporting cycle.
You are
where it's I can't do anything because I need more information. So I need another report. And then you get the report and it's well, things have changed. Well, now I need to know what's happening next so I can react to that.
Yeah.
And you are unable to react as quickly as the information is happening and is changing. So you get paralyzed.
You are, yeah. What was that called again? There was a phrase for that they told us not to do at Nintendo.
Analysis paralysis?
Thank you. They used to teach us about analysis paralysis.
That was a big problem.
At Nintendo. We had a seminar. And we had to identify people on our team, remember, that were people that have this problem a little bit more. And we identified some people on our team. We're like, hey, you have this issue.
Right.
Let us help you get out of the analysis paralysis. That was a big deal because back then there was a recognition of hey, we are an industry that moves very quickly. Things could change, and we, especially on the comms team, you need to make decisions.
It's kind of like professional doom scrolling. Because I think part of what you're doing with doom scrolling is I want to get the new information, but there's part of you is maybe it'll get better. If I'm going to see it in real time, the pandemic went away.
Yeah.
It's gone.
No more tariffs.
It's gone. They're
gone.
The stock market's through the roof.
Oh.
Great. I don't have to worry anymore. So you can kind of talk yourself into beyond doing the hard work of doing kind of scary work of let's put ourselves out there, let's go off script, let's go off of our plan.
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping the next report might tell me that things have gotten better.
Yeah. And I think they have gotten real soft in this area because they're not used to this. They haven't had 7-8 years of positive news and good things.
And again, you need somebody to make a decisive decision. Because
you need an authority figure.
You need Reggie. It's who you need. You need Reggie. Because Reggie would be I've seen enough. Stop with the reports.
Yeah.
I know what we need to do. We need to do something bold. Here we go. And I'm going to be the one doing it.
That's what always happened too. It was either Reggie or Mr. Iwata himself.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's I'm just going to I'm rolling up my sleeves.
Yes.
I'm getting into the mix.
Right.
You know? Whereas, I mean, we would always do our due diligence to make sure that whoever is going to make that decision had the latest and the most relevant information possible. But at some point, somebody has to be like, okay, this is what we're doing. Everybody get on board, And without having that kind of like authority figure there, I think it was really hard for them to like make any decisions at all, which led to a lot of waiting around for stuff as like situations was developing so quickly and conversations were just like spiraling basically out of control so quickly.
Number 5, we did a whole video on this yesterday around the interviews that ran on Monday, but were done at the event, it sounds like Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Just letting those sit under embargo over the weekend
so baffling
and get a little bit stale so that they could run on Monday. The thing that we didn't mention in that video, which is so true, is the information that they were discussing and reacting to
was 2 days late.
Was based on information from like April 3rd and 4th.
Right.
And by the time they ran on April 7th, the situation had
4 days had passed.
Wildly changed.
Right.
But the people who were reading those, they don't know. You don't have to date mark your interview. It's just like, oh, I spoke to Doug Bowser. And most people, you must have done it this morning, right? Like, here's what he has to say about what's happening right now.
Right.
It's not in the moment.
No.
That's the problem.
This one, number 5, the embargoing of the interviews might be the most baffling one on the list because this one is a very easy one to counteract.
Yes.
Like
just tell
the media you're no longer embargoing.
The embargo's off. Run it now.
No more embargoes.
Yeah.
Run the interview.
Yeah.
They did the interview. They're ready to go.
Right.
Why not? Like as all of these questions were coming up in that moment, and you'd had the answers from the people at Nintendo, why would you not just run the interview? It made no
Especially
sense
when
to
you're
me.
putting like basic critical information in the interview.
Like the price of Welcome
How much
Tour?
is the price of Welcome? Why is Mario Kart $80? You have the answer.
What is your strategy around pricing, period?
You're just going to sit on those while people stew in their anger.
Yeah.
And just get more and more frustrated.
The craziest thing to me about this decision, too, is they watched Treehouse Live for 6 hours.
A day.
Over 2 days.
A day.
Of Treehouse Live, where people in all caps shouted, drop the price solidly for the entirety of the Treehouse live stream. They had these interviews that answered some of those questions, maybe not in the best way.
Right. Again, it would not have completely
They
dispelled.
didn't release it?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Those are the people that I feel the worst for because they were out there on the receiving end. And again, like when you're doing Treehouse Live, you're not staring at the chat that's like yelling at you, but you're
you're
curious about it, and it's just like you get a defeated attitude where it's like people just want to yell at me and people be mad at me. So
don't take it on
the Demetriuses, Kendras, and Corys of the world. It's like I truly feel for you.
It's not their. Don't be mad at those people.
Yes.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
But that was just like so baffling, and maybe it's because we were on the comms team and we used to do things like this all the time, like embargo interviews or change the strategy as needed, or we kind of understand that world the most.
But again, I go back to this question of like, are they fully plugged into the speed at which information travels and the speed at which conversations
are you reading
evolve?
The comments?
We have people literally reading a newspaper.
On the comms team?
On the team, reading the newspaper.
But there are other people around them. Eddie Garcia is not reading the newspaper.
Eddie Garcia is just trying to stay alive right now. Right?
Pour one out for Eddie Garcia.
Oh my gosh.
For our homie, Eddie Garcia. I can't get my head around this. I'm sorry. Like I don't know what other excuses you are thinking that they have put in their heads of why they didn't lift these embargoes earlier. I'm completely shook by this decision because again, it wasn't like people were like silently talking about you behind your back. They were shouting to your face the questions they had, the confusions that were out there. I mean, it was literally like everywhere. You didn't even have to look in some special place. Anywhere you looked, you saw the same questions, and you had the answers. You had them.
Yeah.
They were done. Just put it out there. I just don't understand it. Help me understand it.
It's like if you saw that I had spent like $10,000 on the company credit card, and you're like, "What did you do?" And like, "I'll tell you on Monday."
I would punch you in the face.
I'll tell you on Monday. I know, but I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait.
Why would you do that?
I had a real
Don't do that.
I had a real fun night out.
Oh, you bought a Switch too, didn't you? The tariffs really gotcha.
Switch to another hobby, as that tweet that we were laughing at was.
Switch to another hobby. Oh
okay,
my
so
gosh,
our bonus
crying.
secret number 6, half dozen number on our list here. Were they caught off guard by the reactions to the price?
This is my only explanation. We put this secret topic in because I feel like this is our only like explanation to the weirdness, is that they were truly caught off guard by this. They were truly that out of touch at this point, in terms of like, not understanding the landscape at all, in all respects, and they were truly shocked by the reactions. They have somehow, in the echo chamber of their own making, had talked themselves into something where they're like, oh yeah, this is a great price for Mario Kart World. People would never question this. Oh yeah, no problem.
When people are shouting, drop the price of what in particular?
That's true.
What is the thing that is just over the top, like this is too much to
I think
bear?
it was Mario Kart.
I think that's the main thing.
That's the main thing.
And the specter of games being,
The standard
I
price
don't know,
is
it's variable
$80.
pricing. How high could it go? Smash Brothers, $200. Buy it.
Oh,
I don't, $1 per character. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
We've added them all.
Everyone is here,
Yeah.
and so is every dollar from your bank account.
I don't know. I do think that's the main thing, but I think there's like a snowball effect of like, if I want the Switch 2 edition and that's this much, and a pair of Joy-Con is how much, and that's on top of $450. I think the $450 price, like that alone, was within the range.
It's okay.
That was like the high end of I think what most people would be like.
Yeah, but next gen hardware, I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, they made the point in their interviews, like, well, the prices of everything go up. This is kind of, within the realm of hardware. It's like, that's kind of
believable.
That's true. That is true.
Believable.
So it can't be just that. And again, different people are going to have different things that they're really like about.
Yeah.
But I think Mario Kart is like the over-the-top catalyst.
I mean, I was shocked
of this whole movement. Yeah.
Like when you texted me.
What do you mean?
When you texted me the price,
Right.
I was like, "Am I reading this right?" I was really shocked. I do think it's one of those things where one thing that is shocking in how much it costs leads you to do the calculations for what is your price tag to enter into this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's happening
Yes.
with a lot of people is like, okay, Mario Kart is $80. So now I got to do some calculations. Okay, am I able to get the Switch 2 Mario Kart bundle? That's $500. And then I'm going to need to get like these accessories. And then I need to get maybe like a Pro Controller or whatever. And then I need to get maybe like a couple other games at launch, and that's going to add up to this. And I'm going to get Donkey Kong in July, and that's going to be this price. And so when you do all of the calculations together, suddenly you're at like thousands of dollars.
Right.
And that's scary. I think that's a scary price tag.
It's like, again, you can use as many like phrases, but like the straw that broke the camel's back. The amount of people talking about the Wii Sports to Welcome Tour comparisons of like, you made that free, but you couldn't make this free.
Right.
It's just like gone beyond people just have to speak out over it.
Yeah, exactly. And then suddenly they're comparing it to the 3DS. It's like, oh, is this going to get a price drop?
Right.
Are we going to have to do the ambassador program again? Oh, and then you got to factor into the confusion and price around NSO. Like there's some of these Switch Edition games that are free if you have NSO accounts.
Right.
You're going to need NSO also to play Mario Kart World.
If you want the GameCube, you need to upgrade your NSO.
Yeah. So all that stuff just starts to snowball in your
Right.
brain of like, well, how much is this going to cost
in a moment
me?
where everybody's a little stressed about the financial side of their lives.
Exactly.
Right.
So, I think they let themselves get out of touch with how people think about price. And they didn't do this exercise that everyone naturally did of like calculating the price of entry for the next generation into the Switch generation.
Right.
They didn't do that, and so they didn't think people were going to come to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think.
people have pointed out, the variable pricing is something that Japan has had for a long time. That's actually kind of the norm there, where like big RPGs and kind of more like fandom-oriented games like have these high price tags. So they seem to just be moving that wholesale over here. But again, like who is having the conversation
about the US
like,
market?
Well, let me tell you about our market and how people might react to that and what the expectation of the consumer is here.
Right.
There was people love to talk about like, oh, so-and-so came over, he's here for a week, I took him to Target, I took him to the barbecue joint, yeah, he's getting the big American experience. Like, what happened to all that?
Yeah, there used to be so much interest in that kind of like cross-market training where, people in Japan at NCL would send key people to the US, and a lot of times, they would come and each team would have to kind of host them and share with them what it's like in our market. Like that was sort of the
I would love to know.
I don't know if they do that anymore.
I would love to know, like post-pandemic, has the number of trips from NCL to the US and the US to has that number
like diminished,
changed in any way, or is it just like I'll just talk to you on Zoom? I don't need to go.
Yeah, there's got to be something going on here that's led to them being, maybe it's just a number of things that kind of amounted to all of this, but it really just feels like they have become like very out of touch with the world around them. And whether or not it's, nobody is raising their hand and saying something to people are not getting firsthand experiences or a combination thereof, it's like something happened. They have become very out of touch or very sheltered within their own way of thinking, and they were caught off guard by everyone else's reaction because they just did not know. And I think that definitely led to some of the weirdness of these decisions, especially around just the overall idea of reacting in the moment. Like they were so shocked that they could not even react.
And unfortunately, this is not a new thing in the industry. This is actually a pretty common trend of when you have a records-breaking popular platform and you move on to the next one, you kind of lose that edge that got you there in the first place. So everybody's been pointing out, here's some Ken Kutaragi quotes from when they brought out the PS3, or we got this Don Matrick meme from the Xbox One, and yes, the 3DS ambassador program. So this is not a new thing, but for some reason it keeps happening. Who is learning from the history of your own industry to not do these things again? Like, it'll be different this time.
This is like one of those like very like sort of grade school kind of concepts when you take your first history class when you're like fourth grade or whatever, and your teacher says to you like, "We learn history as to not repeat the mistakes."
This happened to you 10 years ago, man.
Yeah, as to not repeat our mistakes. That's
10 years ago, this happened.
That's why we learn this stuff.
Right, there are people who are still there who've been through this more than once. So
yes, that's another thing. They have a employee base that's incredibly tenured, where people have been through multiple generation life cycles. I mean, I was there for like 13, almost 14 years, and we went through all the DS, 3DS era, Wii U, and Switch, 4 console generations. So they have people there that have been through way more than us. That could have learned a lesson, a thing or two. Did those people speak up? No one said anything. Everyone just was like patting themselves on the back, like, yeah, this all makes sense to me. Baffling stuff.
I do think it's something that, again, there's these things like, the Harvard Business Review wrote up this case study of this interesting thing that happened in this business. I read a bunch of those in college.
You used to get me to read some of those too when we were like at Nintendo together. Remember, those were really fun.
They're interesting, and then you can have a fun discussion of like what happened here, and like what went into this decision. So like this is such like a primo case of like, wow, you were on top and you kind of fell off the cliff.
Or anyone at Harvard can do one.
to end this, and you don't have to give me a clear answer. I think it's just a thought exercise. Everybody said all this has happened, but it's still going to sell out.
I kind of think it will. Yeah, I wanted to think about that. I've been thinking about that actually. It is very interesting where, it's one of those things where people are loud right now, but come pre-order time, is it going to be a mad rush to buy it anyways? I think it's still
or is it like the Wii U where it has this kind of false big launch but falls off really fast once the like mega fans like us have it and are playing it, and it's like that next rung of people, for whatever reason, they're like, I can't get in on this right now. Yeah.
Depends on so many factors. That's
because again, if you look at the historical indicators, they have problems, and then the problems carry over into the launch. It's never been like, oh, the problems went away and it was fine.
Yeah.
And it was actually huge.
Yeah, and you know what? Now that you're kind of getting me to think in that way, it's like some of the major issues that they have with launches that become, failures are ones where they have really bad communication in the
Mario Kart's not going to be the last $80 game. I'm sorry.
It's true.
Splatoon? How much will Splatoon 4 be?
Oh, the next Zelda game? That's
make a list.
scary.
Make a list
Scary.
of all of the like Animal Crossing. Make a list of all the equivalently big franchises that people play for hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah. But it is interesting to think about.
Shout out to Fortnite, free. You don't need no V-Bucks. You don't have to have that.
You don't have to have it. Somebody made a great point in one of the comments on one of our many videos about the variable pricing stuff, and they were like, well, then what about Fortnite? I was like, right there.
Fortnite
right there.
is now $10,000.
Right there.
Shout out to Fortnite.
Or like Minecraft.
Yeah.
I mean, Minecraft's not $80.
It's like $30.
Right?
Yeah.
Very, very reasonable entry point.
We're all getting into Roblox now.
That's the future for us.
You and your 5-year-old cousin drooling over.
We can't afford the tariffs, and so now we're playing Roblox.
We're becoming Roblox influencers, yes. All right. Wow, that was quite the discussion. What will the future hold? Who can tell?
I'm still baffled.
We're going to talk about the games that we are playing in just a moment, but did you know that we're about a month away from Mother's Day?
I did not know. I was focused on a Nintendo Direct.
Yes, this episode is sponsored by Raycon, and it's true. We are about a month away from Mother's Day, and the Everyday Earbuds by Raycon are a perfect gift. Mom's doing so much. You got work, family, maybe cooking for you, picking people up from school. Give Mom a moment to relax, recharge, enjoy favorite music podcasts with these Everyday Earbuds.
These are the best. I still use my Everyday Earbuds every day. They're very lightweight. They fit really well in my ears. And they're just like easy to set up. Sometimes I want to give my mom like the simplest technology-wise.
That is important. That is very important.
My mom's pretty technologically savvy,
You don't
honestly,
want that phone call.
But I am family IT, you know what I mean? So yeah, I gotta give her like something that's, but this pairs, so quick, battery life is great, so she's not always having to charge her stuff. My mom does a lot of audiobooks and she goes on walks every day, so this has been perfect for her. And of course, there's tons of nice colors.
What color would you give your mom?
She's like me, she's very classy, so probably like white.
Okay.
I have the white ones too. I wouldn't go like very like garish for her.
Okay.
She wouldn't like that.
All right,
Yeah.
she's not looking
classic.
to pop off like that, yes.
Yes.
And there's a 30-day happiness guarantee, return policy with no questions asked, so that's nice too. So go to buyraycon.com/kitandkrista to get 20% off site-wide. Right now, Raycon is offering up to 20% off site-wide when you go to buyraycon.com/kitandkrista. buyraycon.com/kitandkrista.
I'm gonna put the link over here and in the description below and a QR code for you to scan.
All right, games we are playing. You told me you want to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition.
I was on a trip to Seattle this past weekend, and so of course I brought my Switch and got a couple hours in on Xenoblade. I'm still really liking this game quite a lot, and honestly, like when I was playing my Switch on the plane, I was like a little bit sad. I was like, this is still like such the best system to play when you're traveling. Like, I know the Steam Deck, you can travel with it, but for me, it is like quite large.
Yes.
And I really love like having my Switch with me when I'm on trips and being able to do all that. So I was thinking, as I was going on my trip to Seattle, I was thinking a lot about all the drama around the Switch 2 stuff, and I was like, I need this to work. I need this to work because I still just love this form factor so much, and I want to play these games on the go. I want to have this thing, but I was like very like torn about it. Anyways, back to Xenoblade though. The game is really, really, really fun. Actually, not while I was traveling, but I did also try out like the online stuff.
Oh, tell me about this.
So, good news. Lots of people from the Kit and Krista community are online and can help you. So
but what exactly can you do? I haven't looked into this at all yet.
Yeah, I've been dabbling a little bit with it, but you can just like go online, and then there's like a list of people that are from your friend list that you can like recruit to help you with missions.
And what does that mean?
Like they just show up like as little avatars.
Do you have to boot somebody out of your party for them to join, or are they kind of following along? So they become a part of your party, their character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice. You have like high level people.
Is there any like limit to how high level they can be?
I don't think so. I haven't hit any sort of limit.
Okay.
You just want to like carry.
So you're taking a computer controlled version of their character.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my understanding, at least. Tell me.
You probably have to pay like game money to rent them, or like how did you get them?
I don't think I was paying anything.
Okay. This seems like a power leveling.
Yes,
move here.
That was my point.
Yeah.
Is that I needed to do some leveling up before I can do the next story mission.
Yeah.
So I was able to like go on some like world missions, or I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
And it was fun, and I saw names of people like
that's neat.
from our community, and you can see like what level they are, like what kind of character they chose, because you can choose your different like specialties or whatever, and it's kind of neat. And there's also people just like, if you're in the online world, there's like people out in the field. That
you'll see them.
You can just like pick them up, like randoms.
Oh.
And it gives you a little like...
You mean in the city, or like actually out in the overworld?
Out in the overworld.
Oh, wow.
And then, I don't know if they were like, just again, like sort of like copies of real player characters.
Yeah.
But then they had little notifications too, like so-and-so completed a quest. So-and-so got this material. Like, it was like a live feed of what was happening in your like online world.
I gotta check this out.
It was way more robust than I thought.
I was like, I gotta get all the other mechanics of the game down cold before I can start to introduce this variable. But it sounds like maybe it's very helpful.
It's very helpful. And so I really like that. I mean, obviously you can't do that if you don't have internet connection, which I did not on the plane, but I was able to do like a ton of other like sort of side missions and stuff like that. And yeah, it does there's a bit of a learning curve with this game for sure. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it, and I've now, explored a good portion of the map, and I've been doing a lot of those side quests, so I can like start to level up my character and do more. One thing I still kind of need to figure out is like the armor and weapons. I kind of feel like I'm not picking up enough good ones just in the world.
Yeah, they're not super generous with that.
Then I need to go into the very confusing, scary city to buy new stuff, and I'm like, where do I go? Like, what do I do?
Right.
I don't remember. Like, I don't know why I don't remember this, but I'm having a hard time remembering like what I did in the Wii U version.
I do think that like the way that the game delivers information could be a little bit better. Where again, I was just like wandering around the city, and I came to that part. I forget what they're called. It's like the kind of like military companies that you can invest in.
Yes.
And it's an extremely deep mechanic, and I just like had to page through like a 12 slide, very dense, heavy explainer. I was like, oh, okay.
My eyes sort of glazed over.
I think I understand
bit.
Like 10% of this versus like, I don't know, there could have been like a slower roll or slower, feed of...
Or maybe there's like one little side mission.
Yeah, do this basic thing and now we'll...
do it, yeah.
They kind of do that when you're with the probes, that mission that you do pretty early.
Yeah.
I think that does a good job of like slowly giving you the information and telling you everything that you can do versus like, here it is, figure it out.
I guess it's more of like a side thing, so it's not as like...
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
...pertinent to like the main gameplay, But yeah, if you were interested in that, it's like, oh, this is very dense and hard for you to sift through. So, yeah. This game is not off the table for a potential spoiler.
This game was also not on their list of games getting upgrades. So there was not a Switch 2 edition of this, but they had that other list of games that just got little updates, and people found that 60 frames mode in the code for this game. I kind of want to know what the plan is.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I would really like to know. That would be nice. Just saying, that would be nice.
Game looks good already.
Play it on a bigger screen.
just need this to work. This game looks so good, though.
Oh, yeah.
On my OLED,
Yeah.
gorgeous. The nightscapes for this
It's
game
amazing, yeah.
is incredible. Like, I was just, my eyes were
The
like,
moon,
wow.
the giant moon.
neon moon, and those
Yeah.
creatures with like the jellyfish,
Yeah.
kind of like the little neon,
Right.
bioluminescence, kind of has that vibe to it. Love it. It looks so good. Yeah, I love to see it on
How
the
many
Switch,
more
too.
hours until you get a Skell?
I don't know. I feel like I'm very far from getting a Skell.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's like 10 hours in at least.
Well, how many have you played?
Maybe like 8.
Oh. Oh, you really made it sound like you were a lot further along.
I'm not.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I want to do most because again, I didn't play enough of the original to get
it's
to
fun.
get the Skells. Like,
Yeah.
I really want to get that experience.
You would love that.
Because everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best feelings ever.
Yes.
In a game.
And there is a bunch of probes that you have to be in a Skell to get.
Oh yeah.
Because they're
okay.
on like mountaintops
Right, they're
and
like
cliff
way
sides
up.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So there's
Yeah.
a reason why you want to complete that map. So
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've been juggling that and Assassin's Creed Shadows. You have 2.
I have.
And I'm now probably 25-ish hours
Yeah.
into this. How about you?
I think so.
You're around the same.
I'm around the same. I think you and I are pretty on pace right now. Story-wise, we were talking about how we were kind of in the same part of the main mission. I'm just so surprised because, you know, I'm not like a crazy, like I need to do everything in these Assassin's Creed games. They give you a lot to do, obviously. But I found myself being really interested and like really sucked into some of the side stuff that they kind of put into these games. That's normally, you know, I might try them out every once in a while just to see, but I don't.
Like what?
I don't often go back to them. Like in Valhalla, like those, you know, castle sieges and things like that, or like other little side things that you can do. And I'm sure I tried it at least once, but I don't find myself often like repeating them. But in this game,
The castles in this are super fun.
I'm like super into the side stuff, especially those castles, because those little like side things are so.
Those are
much
big.
Fun. They're big.
It's like that's like sometimes that's an hour or more.
That's like
if you're taking down one of those big castles.
And I'm doing it like slowly.
Yeah,
I'm like doing
yeah.
stealth. You know, I want to like surprise them.
Right.
Yeah. I like those. I like finding the scrolls in the temple.
You have to do that.
I find it to be very relaxing.
Oh, okay.
I
I find it a little bit tedious actually, but
I really like it. I really, really like
Yeah.
it. I like the little like meditation thing that you do. That's like a little rhythm game.
Yeah.
I've become like completely like obsessed with the little side mission where you do the archery on horseback.
oh, it's a fun one, yeah.
and then you get different kinds of horses.
Oh, really?
If you want to be a horse
I
girl.
still don't like the horses in this game. I
love
really
them.
don't like horses in general.
Don't listen to him about the horses.
The horses
are
get
such a
they don't
negative.
They don't turn right, and
They
get
do.
and they get stuck on things.
Because
It's like
you're not riding it
I
right.
just want to go to the destination.
No.
Just take me there, please.
You're not doing it right. You're like abusing the horse. You're like not riding it correctly.
I see.
But now I'm obsessed with like getting all the different kinds of horses.
What does it just go faster or what?
No, they look different.
They don't even go faster?
No. I see you don't care.
What's the
Like,
point?
I got Naoi, like
Yeah.
like a black. She's on a black and white. It looks like
Okay.
a cow print almost,
Oh.
but that's her horse. And then Yasuke is on like this. And they give the little horses like backstories, like Maple used to be a horse in the country
Oh.
and blah blah.
Okay.
So cute.
Yeah.
So I'm like into that now. I don't know. The side stuff has like hooked me. And-
Wow.
And you know, I do need to do some side stuff to level up because some of the story missions are pretty high level for me right now.
Yeah.
So you do naturally have to kind of do more, you know, do some side stuff and explore a little bit and level up. But I'm having so much fun. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, I better get back to the main story. Like I've been doing the side stuff for like days. The other thing that I really, really been liking is doing the little like contracts in your assassin's hideout.
Oh, I
So-
haven't done any of those.
That's how I normally like power level myself and get money,
Oh.
and also get resources to upgrade my
I
hideout.
was going to ask you, it seems like you have a better flow of getting the resources
Do those missions.
because I find those to be pretty few and far between.
Do those missions. They're easy. They're really,
Is it
really
just
easy.
like kill so and so?
Yeah, it's either like destroy this camp,
Okay.
kill
Oh,
some
I'll
guy,
totally do that, yeah.
or like go and swipe these things from this camp. The secret to doing that, though, is you accept the contract and then get almost to where you start the mission for that contract, and then as Naui, and then switch to Yasuke, and then just burst in there and just decimate them as Yasuke.
Yeah.
Because those guys are pretty like weak if you're doing it within your level.
Right.
And you can like very quickly do like do all of those, and then I upgraded my blacksmith forge to the highest level already.
What does that get you?
You can get more engravings onto your weapons.
Okay.
So now everybody's pretty like kitted out. Like their stuff is good. Like
I'm always in this game. I'm so afraid to like invest much in an individual weapon because you do get a lot compared to Xenoblade. It's they just dropped. Oh, and it's way better. So forget this old thing.
She has a cool sword right now. It's called like the Sakura or something like that, and it has like this like pink. It looks like the cherry blossoms on the sheath part of it.
Wow.
It's cool that you can just customize the weapon and your look to however you want to. I always like go through. I'm like, again, this is a dress up in a horse game now for me. So I'm like, this is great. Yasuke got a new weapon too, and it's like a huge like spear with the knife on.
Yes, the Naginata.
Naginata.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really like these. Get lots of reach, and he's very
right.
powerful. He can like swing that thing around. So I've been really liking that. And
I still don't have that big club weapon for him.
I don't either.
Is that something you get at a story point?
I hope so. It feels like he'd be perfect for for his kind of gameplay.
Yeah, I wanted to use that.
I do like his move, which is like the brutal assassination, which is like very different, obviously, than now he's like stealthy assassination, which is what we normally are used to. It's kind of fun that they put that in, like as a way to kind of keep the same kind of sentiment around like, oh, this is how Assassin's Creed game works, but he's gonna do it his way, which is like brute force it, and it's really funny.
I wanted to ask if you had found this. I stumbled upon this like hole, it's like crack in a cave, and it took me into this big like tomb complex.
I did one of those.
Have you found those?
Yes, I did. I did 2 of those.
Yeah, those are neat.
Those are really fun.
Those are kind of a throwback to some of the old like grave robbing parts of Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
I didn't realize they
you can
even
get some really good
had
items
this in here, and there's like no enemies. It's all just about like how do you get from point A to point B.
Yeah, you have to like light the torches along the way so you can mark your path.
Yeah.
So you don't get, because I got lost in there a couple of times. Yeah, but I really like those. Those are really fun. It's
that was cool.
Very, very cool to get rewarded as you explore. Like that's with just like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Those are like my favorite parts of any game. Is like, oh, I want to walk around this like beautiful world that you created and discover like a super deep gameplay thing. Like that's so satisfying that it's kind of like a good range of like, oh, little things you can get, or you can stumble into something big, like a huge like catacomb kind of thing. So that's been really fun. Did you know that you can drive around on the little boats?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was really fun.
Oh, you need those.
I really
Were you just like
them.
Swimming from one side of the river to the other?
I mean, for the little rivers, yes, but I really like driving the little boats.
Oh yeah, you need those. Those are important.
The season changes are nice too.
Yeah, I did my first kind of full winter, but by the end of it, I just kind of skipped out of it because I didn't like it as much. But now it's like cherry blossoms.
Yeah, I'm in cherry blossom
nice.
too. Yeah, I'm back in Kyoto to do a quest, and I saw the cherry blossoms along like that river that we walked by with cherry blossoms before, and I was like, oh,
I've done
my
this.
heart. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, there's so much to do on that board on the menu.
Yeah.
It can be kind of overwhelming to decide like, oh, what can I do next? But a lot of it, they'll show you it, but it's way out of your level, so you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I've got like maybe half of the main circle taken care of, but I have to do these like Yasuke flashback quests, which have been really interesting.
Those are really fun.
And I still haven't done all of the Naue flashbacks. I find those to be a little bit less interesting than his.
Finish those.
What happens after you finish those? Anything, or it's just like you finish them?
You just need to do them because they'll force you to.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
just to give you her backstory.
Maybe I'll save those. Maybe I'll save those.
Yeah,
for
I did the last one, and it's just it is like one of those things where the game starts you at a certain point, and then you flash back on both characters like in the years and months leading up to that point where the game starts. So it's kind of an interesting way of storytelling, like the way that they're doing that. I agree with you. I do think the Yasuke stuff is like a lot more interesting. Naui's story is a little bit more like, I can kind of see, it's very expected. But Yasuke's is very, very cool. And some of the moments are a little cheesy, but I really liked it. How do you like the music in this game?
I don't really like it when they use the big music to kind of punctuate a scene.
I like it.
It seems very like out of place for them trying to be like authentic to this period, where it's very like Tarantino-esque, like out of some.
That's why I like
out of like
it.
a Kill Bill. It's like I don't know.
That's why I like it.
Okay.
I feel like it makes it very cinematic.
Yeah.
Like I just did a Yasuke part where there was some Portuguese rapping, I think. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect this, but I kind of.
I'll be on the lookout for the Portuguese
weird,
rapping.
But I kind of like it for some reason.
Did the other Assassin's Creed do that? I don't remember them really doing that.
No, not at all.
It's a stylistic choice. I'm sure some
There's
people
also
like it.
some very thoughtful like cinematic like camera angles and stuff in these big moments. Like I really noticed that in the Yasuke part of the story as well. Like it was like watching like a really good movie. Like this is well done. Like wow, like I'm like very sucked into this. Like you've really, like I put the controller down and I was just like locked into like watching it. Like I don't know, I kind of like it, and I think the music makes it feel more like a movie, I guess. So I don't mind it. It is different.
I still have a ton of the map that I've not even touched, but again, most of it is like really high. I'm now like I think I'm high 20s level, but it seems like the next wave of things is like high 30s. So I'm like, how am I getting from high 20s to high 30s?
That's why I've been doing all those side
I guess I need to do some side quests.
Yeah, because I've been getting like leveled out of some of the stuff.
Right.
Like there is like a bunch of people that I need to assassinate them before I can continue the main board of people.
Right.
But I'm too low level to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I've been like doing that thing where even though I'm really low level, I'll like run to try to get an eagle point.
Yeah.
And just
to
kind of
get
like
it,
just
and then,
to get it.
and then bail
but
out.
Then
there.
I got really I got in some trouble because I went to this area where I was too low level. I tried to like run past them to get the eagle point, and then I became wanted.
Oh, don't get
in
wanted.
that area, and then you can't get rid of that
until the season
changes.
Yeah, you can switch to the other character.
You can switch to the other character, but now it was like definitely wanted in like this one region. I was like, I can't go there with her. Whoops.
It's not a game, but I watched the Minecraft movie.
You did. What did you think?
And we'll talk about the big record-breaking performance in the news. But I went on a Sunday, kind of midday, just because I was so curious about it. Like, if people have been following with us, like we are Minecraft curious, but that is kind of the extent of it.
Noobs.
We've done some truly, truly terrible gameplay videos.
Yeah, please watch them if
trying
you're
to come to grips with how to play Minecraft.
Or maybe that'll make you like hate us.
What Minecraft is, and it's still somewhat escaping us. But it's a game that I absolutely respect.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, actually.
That's what you were saying. Yeah, you said that it was like kind of akin to the Mario movie in its lightheartedness.
Right, very lighthearted, very fast-paced, got a very easy-to-follow story.
And it had like fun little Easter eggs for people
lot
that
of Easter
like
eggs.
Minecraft.
I still don't know what a chicken jockey is.
What's a chicken jockey?
I don't know. People can explain it to us.
Explain it to me.
In
is
the comments.
Like your like old like your mom asking you to explain a meme to them?
But there were other Minecraft references that I did understand.
Yeah.
And interestingly, they also do have other like social media meme references in addition. So like I told you, the movie starts with Jack Black talking about, well, I was a child and I yearned for the mines, and he just had this lifelong love of mines, which, like, I guess that's somewhat Minecraft related, but that's just, a meme that you'll see out there. Or there's also like there's like that sound on TikTok where the guy's like, let me tell you something. Like they had Jason Momoa basically recreate that as like some guy was like gonna punch him. I was like, oh, I recognize that. So it's this interesting interplay of just like various memery from all around, which I think works super well.
It's called I Understand My Audience.
With the target audience. It's like, no, I think they really do.
They deeply understood their target audience.
But I think like people think like, oh, movie studios are kind of out of touch. They're kind of like not really trying to connect on that level. So I give them some credit for doing that.
Heck yeah.
And I'm sure there's some people who either don't understand it or who think that's stupid, but it worked for me, and I think it works for, it seems to be working.
If you're on the internet,
right,
and you have some passing, interest or at least base knowledge of Minecraft, I think you might find this pretty entertaining.
Yeah. And I think we all had that feeling when we saw the first trailer of like, wait, it's just Jack Black and he's just a guy and he's Steve, but it totally works. And they have a very good Like, there's a part of the movie that is not in the Minecraft world. It's just in the real world.
Okay.
And it's like, well, how did all these people get in there? And even that part of it, it's, like, kind of good.
Okay.
Like, Jason Momoa plays this, like, guy who was, like, basically the champion of the Nintendo World Championships of they don't call them that, but 1989 gaming championships.
Okay.
And he's trying to, like, keep relive his glory, but he's like a loser now.
Oh.
And then there's like this other family who moved there, and they all get sucked into the Minecraft world. But they're all good characters. Jack Black's doing Jack Black things. He's making funny faces. And
he's funny though.
He's got some.
He's just funny.
He's got some songs. He's got some good songs.
I love it when he sings.
There are 2 post-credit scenes for people who still have not seen this, so don't. One of them was like, that answered a big question for me.
Okay.
I'm glad I saw it.
Great.
Teasing an inevitable sequel.
Of course. I mean, this is a huge moneymaker for them. So
Yes, hugely inevitable. But yeah, I came away pretty pleased with it.
Yeah. I was noting that, like, very similar to the Mario movie, had like a very low critic score, but a very high like user score, viewer score. So I think if you're just going to the movie to be entertained for an hour and a half, and again, if you have any sort of like passing interest in like cultural, jokes and like, the jokes of on TikTok and stuff like that, and a little bit of knowledge in Minecraft, I think anybody like that will find it entertaining. You don't have to be like the world's biggest Minecraft fan, it seems like, to enjoy this.
I mean, with the Mario movie, I think at least some of the critics, like even if they are old and curmudgeonly, they at least were young when Mario was coming up.
They were young and whimsical once.
I've played that once or twice versus Minecraft. I don't know, beyond the name, do they have any touch point to that?
It might not.
At all? Like maybe they have a kid who plays it, and they're like, waste of the brain rot. I can understand why this movie did not get good reviews.
Right. But it seemed like it was very entertaining.
Are you going to see it?
I'm definitely going to see it.
Wow.
I'm going to see it next week. I need to wait for the hype to die down a little bit.
You don't want to get popcorn dumped on your head when they say chicken jockey?
I don't. I'm very terrified of the shenanigans in the theater.
Okay. Maybe you can study up. You can brush up on your Minecraft knowledge and get the most out of this movie.
So I can understand
a chicken
jockey
I think
a bit more?
I think there's a lot to get out of this movie.
Gain a deep understanding of chicken
jockey?
jockey?
The deep lore, yes.
Okay.
I think so.
I will do that.
Let's move on to the news.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, there's a leak.
Oh, no.
A banana leak. Oops.
Oopsie.
This happened over the weekend. The Korean official Nintendo site put up the wrong artwork for Donkey Kong Bananza. And you remember in the artwork we saw in the Direct and in the game, Donkey Kong has this kind of purpley rock creature on his shoulder. Well, in this leaked artwork, it looks like young Pauline.
I'm so excited about this.
You were so excited when we saw this.
So excited.
Tell us more about your excitement.
Look at how cute
What makes you
is.
excited about this? Because you dislike Baby Mario. You dislike
because they have
babies.
pacifiers.
You dislike babies in general.
I do dislike babies in general. This is not a baby, first of all.
Okay. Well, you said you can't go to a Minecraft because you might come in within 50 feet of a child.
That's
so
why I'm going.
I'm curious why you're excited about this.
Well, I like her.
All right.
I think this is adorable. I would love to see some kind of alternate like combination involving Donkey Kong and Pauline. How cute!
Now, we had a conversation about, so who is this the Pauline as we know her as a child? Is this Pauline's
daughter?
Spawn of Pauline? If so, who is the father?
Who is the dad?
Get Maury Povich in here. We need to find out. We have some paternity tests for Mario
and
Mario and various others.
No.
Mario's going to be doing
Mario's
going to be doing cartwheels on the set of Maury Povich. You are not the father.
Whoa! It's not me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's. Why do you think they did this? This was their next big. It's kind of a lot of work to do, like for a fake out, to have some sort of a placeholder. But if you look closely at that thing on her wrist,
she's wearing a bracelet that looks like the Rock.
Does the Rock become like? Does the Rock morph into her bracelet?
Like a Giga Evolution, like a Pokemon's?
Yeah, I feel like they're maybe not completely like pretending the Rock didn't exist, but the Rock kind of becomes one with her somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
There's so many mysteries around this. Yeah, I like at first I was like, oh, this must be like a big reveal in the game that they wanted to keep a surprise. And so they basically just like reprogrammed the trailer and the demo so that they replace all Paulines with the Rock.
It's a lot of work.
I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah.
I do think maybe there is some kind of, maybe she got cursed to be the Rock, and he has to like break the curse to help her become Pauline again.
Cursed to like shrink down into a child?
No, cursed to shrink to change into a rock.
Oh, Pauline became a rock.
Right.
Child Pauline became a rock.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
we're going
maybe
some
there's some
places
kind
now.
of like, you gotta break the curse. Or find a way, I don't know. This is Donkey Kong lore. There's a lot of other people saying too that this is actually not Donkey Kong, but it's Cranky Kong. This is like a prequel.
Okay.
But he's wearing a DK tie.
But Cranky Kong is in this game. We've seen Cranky
That's
Kong.
why that one's debunked.
And that's Grampy Kong? Grandpa Cranky Kong? Generations of Kongs?
Oh, generations of Kong. They're all it's like Cranky Kong Senior.
My father's father's father.
Cranky Kong Third.
Kong family tree. Okay.
There's some theories.
They do seem to be trying to like come up with their own
lore
take on Donkey Kong lore, which please let's keep it light. We don't need another.
Here we go with
we
the
don't
timeline.
need another timeline. But I always had the feeling that. So, Donkey Kong exploded when it was with Rare, with Donkey Kong Country, and then Retro kind of took their take on that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Nintendo's like, we're gonna do it our way now. We're gonna kind of
we're gonna bring the Kong home.
We're gonna kind of rewrite the history of this, especially now that like
he's a big deal.
Rare is not associated with Nintendo
we got
anymore.
the Donkey Kong Super Nintendo World.
And I wonder if they're like, just like, we had to pass that outside of Nintendo to become. I wonder if there's like a point of like, we're gonna.
This is the Donkey Kong Homecoming.
We're gonna show them what we could do when we do a Donkey Kong game. Oh. I always had that feeling a little bit.
Who's making this game?
Rare. We got the Donkey Kong 64 team back together.
Time to collect the different colored bananas.
You won't believe how many bananas we
Steven
have.
Satilla get excited. But can we just go back to Little Pauline?
Yes, what about it?
Just let's look at how cute she is.
Okay, so this game comes out in July. So
is there a direct?
We must be close to some sort of big
either title direct or overview trailer.
Or
another direct.
Or just like
more
games, just in general, with updates on this and some new game announcements.
Yeah.
Why not?
June.
May, June?
May, June.
Yeah. The thing's out in June, so
yeah.
Later in June? And you talked about how we still need a third party.
We need a third party
direct.
Update. There's probably more.
There's a lot to do here.
We need an update on this baby Pauline.
Okay.
Very excited about this.
I'm interested in
also, sell me the bracelet.
In your interest. Oh.
Sell me the bracelet.
Get that at Nintendo Kyoto from the centuries-old artisanal craftsman for the low price of
$400.
$500.
Plus tariffs.
Yeah. It'll be seized by the cops
upon
arrival. Yes.
But I love that. It's very cute.
It's nice.
All of it is very, very cool.
Good.
This game looks so good.
Yes.
I'm so excited about it.
This is the bummer thing about all the stuff we spent an hour talking about how much this stuff sucks. Guess what? This game looks awesome.
It looks so good.
I'd love to talk about that instead.
I would love to.
Seriously.
Just looking at this artwork gets me really excited about it. And I know people that played it have had nothing but really positive things to say and just like really
this is like my kind of power fantasy game. You know me. Imagine if this game was Machamp though instead of Donkey Kong. Imagine
you would
that.
have two different.
You have two sets of arms punching through the walls.
Punching through stuff.
That'd be awesome.
You know what this game also kind of reminds me of is that like really satisfying mechanic in SteamWorld Dig.
Yeah.
Where you're like digging down and you're like just randomly like running to the treasure chest or something.
If people want to get the Hulk Ultimate Destruction, that's a game to play if you want to get excited for this.
Oh.
The Red Faction Gorilla, it's called Red Faction Gorilla.
Oh, no.
That was like everything is destructible. Like those are and SteamWorld. Those are games to play if you want to get in the mood.
Get hyped for Donkey Kong with those 3 games.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
This morning there was a Creator's Voice video that came out between Nintendo and Supergiant Games on Hades 2. And mostly they were just kind of talking about things that we already knew, but it was revealed that the game is launching first for consoles on Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah.
As predicted.
Yes, by you.
By me in our predictions video, yes.
Check mark for you. We'll have to remember when we check back on these
Yes.
predictions.
I mean, this was just an approach that worked so well for them last time. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm sure they're like, oh, well, we can capitalize on this big new console launch. I think they have said it is coming to just regular Nintendo Switch as well. Yeah. There was some question of like, well, will it be on that Switch on the same time as the Switch 2, or is the exclusivity
only on Switch 2?
On Switch 2.
Right.
And then it's also, obviously, there's the PC version that's coming as well, which is currently, you can get that. That's an early access.
That's early access. Yeah, we played that game.
Yeah, I have that.
On a stream. It's super fun.
Right. So that is a very nice get for them on the third-party side. That's great. And I like that they've been doing these developer...
This creator voice stuff.
Creator's voice. They did
it's really nice,
They did one with FromSoft previously, so keep going with that.
Can they do that with some first-party developers, please?
These are for third parties.
But can they do it for first-party developers, please?
Well, when you don't reveal who the creator is, you can't do it.
Can you please?
No.
Can you? Okay.
I scoff at you.
Okay. Okay.
This is an interesting detail that I haven't seen many people talking about.
What?
In the debate of who's making what. Sakurai-san,
Sama.
Put out a tweet after the Direct confirming that Kirby Air Riders is being made by Bandai Namco Studios.
Right.
The translated tweet says, just like Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS and Ultimate, the recently announced Kirby Air Riders game is also being developed by Bandai Namco Studios.
Nice.
The full staff is giving their all in developing the game, but it will take some time before we can share more information. Please wait a bit longer. Is he aware that they have announced that it's coming out this year?
Hopefully.
Please wait a bit longer.
What is your schedule now? Do you still go to bed at 2?
So clearly he's got a really great relationship and is happy with the work.
He really likes working with them.
That Bandai Namco does. Remember a while back there were some job listings for Bandai Namco?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, working on this. I forget exactly how it was worded, but it's like, oh, that's probably a Nintendo game.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally remember that.
Remember that? Yeah.
Yeah. We were thinking maybe like.
And people are like, oh, they're back on Star Fox. We got Star Fox Assault 2.
Yeah, yeah.
There's still time for them to do that.
There's still time for them.
There's still time for them to do that.
Yeah, but this is definitely what that was. Yeah.
Some people have pointed out that there may be a double standard and that they will not say who is making Donkey Kong, yet at the end of this trailer it says directed by Masahiro Sakurai.
I know.
What's up with that?
Look, he is in a league of his own.
What is up with that?
They do what he tells them. He's probably out there like, you gotta put my name on this.
He's not a Nintendo employee.
He's not.
So he's
Also,
operating on a different level.
He is in charge. They will do what he says. You want to butter this guy up, right? You gotta make that next Smash game that's gonna cost $300. So better start buttering now.
Oh boy.
Better start buttering now.
Oh boy.
But yeah, he's in a league of his own.
Kirby Air Ride I just brought in to the studio the other day. We're going to play some of that.
We're going to play that GameCube version.
So what is your history with Kirby Air Ride? I played
that game. I owned that game.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Because that's a game.
I played a lot of games on my GameCube.
I got that game about 10 years ago. So not when the GameCube was fresh.
Oh yeah, I got that game in the moment.
And it never has clicked with me.
What?
I don't know. So I need you to show me the way.
Yes.
Of how to actually dominate in this game.
Oh, I'm not going to give you all my secrets.
Or at least be passable, not get last place. That's my version of dominating.
All my secrets, but okay. But we will play that game. I think we should.
Tell me more about Kirby Air Ride. What do people need to know about Kirby Air Ride?
What do you mean? What do you need to know?
Not many people. I don't think this was a massive bajillion seller on the GameCube. People are excited because, it's Kirby at Sakurai, but do people actually know what kind of game this is?
It's a racing game.
It's a one-button racing game.
Yeah, one-button racing game. I don't know. Seemed pretty self-explanatory to me at the time.
They weren't there. They didn't have the game. Jeez.
Please stay tuned to this gameplay video.
Okay.
It's going to be great.
All right. You will reveal all the secrets there. Lastly, as we were saying, the Minecraft movie just broke a ton of records.
Yeah.
Movie-wise.
Every record.
So it made, over the weekend, it made, in the US and Canada, 163 million, and then the total take for the weekend was 313 million. So I'll just rattle off some of the records that it broke. It's been the biggest opening of the year so far for movies, ahead of Captain America's 88 million. That's really paltry.
That's sad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was a record opening for a movie based on a video game, so passing the 146.3. I wonder if these must be domestic takes. So let's compare it to 163. So that's almost 20 million more than Mario, which was a huge.
Mario was a huge hit.
A huge hit.
Yeah.
It's the only film in box office history to open to over 50 million and see no drop on Saturday.
Whoa!
And it actually went up by 4% on the Saturday ever. First movie ever. That is really interesting.
That's so interesting because I would think most people go see movies on Saturday.
Right.
But okay.
So it kind of speaks to like this movie might have some longevity.
Yeah, I bet these kids will see it again.
Let's go see it again.
Yeah.
I want to recreate my viral chicken jockey moment and get kicked out of the theater.
Oh my gosh.
That's what's going to happen to you.
Or you're going to go with all your different friend groups. Like I'll go with my parents.
We're going to sing along to this Jack Black song.
We're going to sing along to the Jack Black. Now we're going to go watch the Easter eggs again.
Exactly.
This content creator did something funny. I want to go see it again.
Right. I think that bodes really well for them. And then overall, it was the biggest industry weekend of 2025.
Wow.
Just bolstered by this game was the President's Day weekend, which was 155 million. So, wow.
Wow.
We, not in a mainline Kit and Krysta podcast, we do a bonus Q&A every week.
We do.
That's available to some of our tiers. We got a question about what do you predict that the Minecraft movie will do?
That's what I said.
And the people kind of laid out like, well, you got the Mario movie, you got the Sonic movie. So what I think my prediction was absolutely better than the Sonic movie and kind of in the same echelon as the Mario movie.
I said it was going to do better than the Mario movie.
You said it was going to do better. So it's on pace for that. We got laughed at, we should say.
People were mad at us.
I don't know if they were mad, but
they were like, you losers.
They were laughing.
You don't know what you're talking about. This movie's not going to do well. Definitely not better than the Sonic movie.
I mean, I've realized that when I say anything about Sonic, it comes off a certain way, but like the cultural relevance of Minecraft is just where it just seems like at a certain age, like every kid had a Minecraft phase or moment. Yeah. It's like where Sonic is still kind of more of a
nostalgia
niche or nostalgia thing.
Same with Mario. I think Mario has a lot of like. With our generation, obviously, we are so in on anything Mario.
Is Minecraft more culturally relevant than Mario?
I don't know.
I think you could argue that it is.
Oh my.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'll say definitively yes, but I think you could make the argument.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not around that generation.
I also don't know necessarily like outside of this country. We did see a lot of Minecraft stuff in Japan.
We did.
Whereas I think Mario is like because of the 40 years of history.
Yeah, it's just had time to become a global
to penetrate,
phenomenon.
Whereas Minecraft's a little bit less.
Yeah.
So maybe on that metric, maybe Mario has a bit of an edge there.
Right, right.
But it is absolutely massive.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I can see it blowing. Let's see if it has the longevity that the Mario movie had. But I think I had predicted back in that Q&A that like it was going to do, $1 billion, just like the Mario movie.
Well, congratulations.
I think it will. Do you think so?
Over $1 billion?
Yeah.
Well, it certainly is on its way. So yeah, and I do think it has enough to have the long life. So yeah,
I think it's going to do it.
I think it probably will. Let's answer some questions from our Patreon community. We get each and every question from our Patreon subscribers. Our first question today is from Link, the hero of wins. Hey, Kit and Krysta, in case you haven't already covered this, I'm wondering how you feel about the design of the physical Switch 2 game boxes. Personally, I find the giant red bar incredibly ugly, and it takes up way too much space. And we have an example here. There was also another example that I unfortunately don't have for you here, where the boxes were seen from an angle, and you could see the spine.
Okay.
Where on the Switch 1, the spine just has a red bar with the title.
Yeah.
And I think the difference here is the artwork can actually wrap around to the spine. So it did look, I thought that looked pretty nice. Just the handling of the artwork wrapping around.
But then when you put it on a shelf, you know how everybody with the big Switch collections, like our good friend Wood, in his background, it has like, it's just like a beautiful red.
Oh, here we go. Here, look at this. I just pulled this up for you.
Okay, thank you.
What do you think of that?
I don't like it at all.
You don't like it?
I hate all of it.
What do you not like?
I was just trying to explain it to you. When you look at it on a shelf...
You like that it's uniform.
And it's just all red, and it just has a logo very, very, small at the top, modest, and then the title. It looks so nice. It looks so nice. It looks very... I feel like it looks a lot more clean. I honestly do not like this design at all for this. Do you?
I dislike it not on the same level that you do. The big issue that I have with it is the disclaimers, the lines and lines of disclaimers at the bottom. There's a QR code there so that you can learn more. I think if you were able to do away with that, I think that would actually be pretty nice.
I don't like the bar at the top either.
So the case is taller. That is the way that they are differentiating these from a Switch One box. It's going to be taller, which again is hilarious because the game card is this tiny thing.
But they're just trying to make sure you don't get the wrong thing.
Yeah, they don't want you to understand.
I totally understand
that it's different. The outer case is red.
I like the red case.
Now, if you look at these versions, these are Japanese. They don't have any disclaimers at all.
Yeah, it looks clean at the bottom.
Maybe I need to see more cases because I think these Japanese, we have Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong. I think that looks nice. I don't
like the wraparound.
I think that looks really nice. I think the wraparound is cool. You don't even buy physical, so maybe your opinion is not valid here, or is not wanted, in fact.
Fine.
Yeah, it's just that
on a shelf it's going to look terrible.
Can we just get the legalese? But put it on the back. Like, why can't we do that? That sucks.
It does suck. Look at how long the disclaimer is for the Zelda box.
And then
it's like almost like half the box is the logo and the disclaimer and this giant ESRB logo and that QR code.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the Metroid Prime 4 box here, which again, this is the Switch 2. Like, this box art is so nice. This image of Samus is so cool, but then like you have like a fifth of it at the bottom.
Yeah.
Includes the Nintendo Switch game and Nintendo Switch 2 Edition upgrade pack. Upgrade pack also available separately for details. Visit blah blah blah, and then where it's in different languages.
Why can't we put it on the back?
And then we have the lawyers have gone too far. Come on, put it on the back.
People will still have it on the back if it's on the back.
Oh, and then here we have the original Switch version, which doesn't have that, obviously, because there is no Switch 2 Edition.
Oh, it looks so good. You can see her little legs.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is my main issue. The red bar on the top, I don't mind that at all. I think that's fine.
I like the red box.
You like the red box?
Okay. Red box is very cool.
We got you to like something.
I like the red box a lot.
Let's quit while we're ahead and move on. Ninja11 asks, you previously pointed out that part of the reason that Mario and Luigi Brothership was such an unfunny snooze fest was due to people in the localization team like Nasty Nate. I appreciate the full name
usage of his name.
Getting promoted and being unable to work on the translation. It got me worried about another game series known for its humor that is also in need of revival, Kid Icarus. If we are fortunate enough to even get a Kid Icarus revival again, is there enough comedic juice left in the treehouse to make a game worthy of following up Uprising? Thanks for your insight.
Do not do that. Just remake Uprising.
You remember who was the localization lead on Kid Icarus?
Oh, yeah.
Care to expand on that at all? No.
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Wait, who is it?
Well, it's none other than John Yeckley, who you were the boss of for an extended period of time. Yes, so he used to work in the Treehouse. He was the localization lead on Kid Icarus.
I did not remember this.
And he moved over to the communications team to work on all sorts of things. So that's a tough look for you right here.
He's funny.
That's the thing. He is hilarious.
And he's weird funny.
Like, these people, obviously you're translating a game, like, but you do need to have a sense of humor and a lens through which to look to take just the raw translation and make it work. You need the right people doing it who have the right kind of personality and perspective to make it work. So I don't know the full process of like how do they pick the person to lead.
Right, the localization.
Hopefully that's one of the criteria. Like, this person's just funny.
Yeah.
This person's a good match for this kind of game.
Maybe they can just start with doing a remake of Uprising.
Right.
A remaster. And then they can start to get the localization team.
We have a 20-year plan to make another funny Kid Icarus. Okay.
Better than having a bad Kid Icarus that's bad like Brothership.
Okay.
That's not funny and boring.
But yeah, Nasty Nate is hilarious. Bill Trinan, when he was doing localization, he's a funny guy. He's got a great sense of humor. That is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to have the charisma to be able to localize these
games.
games.
The Riz.
He needs the Riz.
Put that on the job description.
Yeah, you need
Line
Riz.
1. Do you got the Riz?
Are you Sigma and do you have Riz?
Chicken jockey. Riven asks, we saw Silk Song, if only briefly and without a specific release date. Shockingly, I'm not seeing this mentioned much. What are your thoughts on this?
That was like the biggest troll ever. How people have been shouting for the Silk song for the longest time ever. So much so that it's become like a meme. And then they finally showed it in like the world's most important Nintendo Direct for like 10 seconds with no launch date. That was like the biggest troll ever. I don't know. It was so short. I don't even know what to make of it.
I think that's the thing. It was maybe 5. Was it even 5 seconds of footage? It was just the character like running along. Like I was like, yeah, that's a Hollow Knight game.
Yeah.
So I think, and it did reiterate the 2025 date,
yes.
which I think they had previously recommitted to.
Right.
So again, I think we'll believe it when we see it.
When we actually see it.
When it emerges in a more tangible way.
This is what I'm saying. They got more. Even all the games in that little sizzle, they gotta go a little deeper on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So they have more directs upcoming to show us more of that stuff. It's third party.
This is not an exclusive on Switch.
Right.
Xbox immediately was like, play this on Game Pass.
Oh.
It's going to Game Pass.
Okay.
So that's cool for them.
Yeah.
Just release this game at this point. That's I think what we all ask.
Right. But I think that we're going to see more of it later.
We better.
Yeah.
That Connor guy asks, over the past few weeks, we've seen Nintendo introduce a lot of mostly pro-consumer features like game share, virtual game cards, and game key cards, but most of these have caused confusion amongst the public. Does Nintendo need to consider reintroducing these features in a more clear way? Now is your chance to settle the confusion and give us a clear explanation of the difference.
I only know.
So let's go. What do we know? What do we know about these?
Game share, I think I know.
Game sharing is like download play.
Download play.
Right, but there's a lot of disclaimers.
There are ways of where yes, a lot of a lot of rules to make this thing function.
Yes, it needs to be enabled through a patch.
Right.
They were talking about you can share from a Switch 2 to a Switch 1 if you're playing a Switch 1 game. Again, must have a patch. You cannot share a Switch 2 game to a Switch 1, even though they showed a lot of different combinations of hardware up there. They were like faking you out. They're like, you can't do this.
It's like a 3-card Monty.
This thing I'm showing you? No, you can't do it.
Don't do what Johnny Don't does.
Virtual game cards. Explain this.
I don't know what this is.
This was the one in the Direct the week before.
Oh, this is like I can loan you my game.
Right,
oh no.
Yeah.
It is.
You're basically like sharing the license for this digital game.
But this one also has a lot of disclaimers. Like you can't share it to anyone. It has to be somebody within your family account.
Yeah, I believe so. And I think there's a limit on how many
you can loan out.
How many games you can loan to somebody at a time. And I think there's like a time, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 15 days. And it automatically comes back to you.
Game key cards.
Wait.
Back to this.
The virtual game
cards,
yes. So can you and I share games?
We're not on the same NSO account.
That's right. So what do we do?
Well, I guess we better do that. Game key cards.
So this is the thing that it's like...
This is the one where they were calling... What was this? No, go ahead, please. Now I'm getting confused myself. Go ahead.
The cartridge doesn't actually have anything on there, and then you have to download the actual game. So it's like an empty shell. Is that right or no? Is that wrong?
I haven't looked too deeply into this because I'm like, it is what it is. But yeah, there's some minimal amount of game information on there that will let you download the rest of it when you put it in.
On the physical cartridge.
But I do believe there is a physical cartridge.
Yeah, so
and not just a piece. Because sometimes you buy a game, it's a piece of paper with a download code.
I buy a hard copy, $80 of Mario Kart World.
Yes.
I
don't know. I don't think they're doing this for Mario Kart World. This is for games where the publisher does not want to pay the price of the actual memory of the game card. But they still want to have something packaged in a box for people to buy.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are all very complex ideas that I think people can remember some, but not all of the they all sound kind of similar too.
Do they have this somewhere on the website or something, or is it clear?
So what would you do if you were in charge of? We need to help people understand this. What would you do?
I would probably make some dedicated videos or whatever, just communicating the true details of this, and then have the information all in one place on the website.
Yeah, I learn by observing. So I think if you had a video where it's like, I'm just going to show you the steps,
Yeah, just show me, like,
and I'm not
one,
cutting
two.
anything out.
Right.
I'm just showing you very plainly how I am using this feature.
Right.
All the steps that are involved.
Yes.
That would be all I need.
I would like that.
That would be nice, right?
That would be nice.
Right.
Like, kind of like, you know how they do those parental control videos?
Yeah.
Do that for these.
Right. Because again, when you get, and then the VO's there, and then we're doing cuts. It's like,
Just show it to me, plain and simple.
I just need to understand.
Yeah. And again, it's all about centralizing the information as
Right.
well. Give it to me so that I can find it easily in one place on your official channels. You know? Because that would be good, not to just having to dive for information and having like the search pop up with everybody else's speculation around how this works versus the actual facts of how it works.
Have game consoles become too complicated?
I don't think it's the console. It's like the stuff around it.
Is that part of the problem? Big picture.
It's the stuff around it.
There's just too much to these systems now that it's impossible to convey the full scope of them.
Well, are all those things needed to be conveyed?
They're all things that somebody's going to care about. Virtual game card's cool to somebody.
But that's not the console getting overcomplicated.
It's a feature on the Switch 2. Oh. The amount of things that you can do on a Switch 2 and the features that are enabled.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's kind of unprecedented.
But it's like,
how much stuff.
how they say, like, they have those videos like 10 things that you still don't know your iPhone can do.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Right.
It's like that. They just need to keep
And
hammering
Apple seems to have absolutely
they don't care.
zero care at all whether you know about them or not.
Exactly. It's like, you can do that with your photos. That would have helped me like
a
million times over, but I didn't know it existed.
Mm-hmm. Well, then
It's
why is it not a problem for an iPhone, but it's like stumbling block? Is it the fact that they even tried to convey it?
I don't
Because
know.
we'd be annoyed if they didn't tell us.
My head hurts.
Or you want to move on? Okay.
This is so complicated.
Keep explaining. We're going to keep it until we get it right.
I don't get it.
Tusku, last question, asks, hello, Kit and Krysta, do you sense any similarities in Nintendo's attitude from this transition to the DS to 3DS transition, which faced similar backlash over prices? Do you think there are any lessons from the early 3DS life cycle, specifically that they learned, any that they didn't learn? Is it possible that Nintendo will offer an ambassador program for anything Switch 2 related or to cut game prices? I'm really curious and thankful for your thoughts on these parallels specifically. Thank you. So this was an example that Stephen Totilo proactively brought up, that the 3DS felt analogous to the Switch 2 for him. I think we both feel like a price cut is not anything that's happening
in the near future or ever.
Certainly not before the thing comes out.
Right.
If anything, due to the tariffs, it might go up, but it's certainly not going down.
Yeah.
And that's a true worst case scenario, where you in the first year, I mean, they had never cut the price of the original Switch.
Right.
So just by comparison's sake, that would be really drastic and really
that means
extreme.
Something horrible.
Something's gone terribly wrong.
Something horrible has really happened.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that in terms of like the comparison or even like lessons learned, one lesson that they learned about the 3DS transition that they learned in the Switch era is how they need a lot of really high quality games to keep people interested. Like one of the major failings of the 3DS is that it didn't have any good launch titles. So they have learned that lesson hard.
Steel Diver?
I mean, you can play some Steel Diver.
Steel Diver Gang Rise Up?
Okay. I mean, okay. But, so I don't see them like unlearning that lesson anytime soon. I do think that their launch lineup for Switch 2 is going to be like really, really strong. And we keep saying like the games look great. They're just getting really overshadowed by all of the conversation and drama around some of the other stuff, right? So I see them pointing to like this is not like telling themselves like, hey, this is not like the 3DS transition, because they're probably thinking about that too and seeing the discourse out there. But they're telling themselves this is not like the 3DS transition because we do have software to support this life cycle. But yeah, in terms of like taking very drastic measures like an ambassador program or a price drop or things like that, I don't think that is even in the realm of possibility for them right now.
If a company that has 100+ year history and literally a museum celebrating that history makes the same mistake within 12 years of itself.
Oh man.
Come on.
That can't be real. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the ambassador program thing is it's like wishful thinking. It's like, oh, we'll get something for free for our trouble.
If you can't even get welcome tour for free, what do you think you're going to be getting for free? You're getting nothing for free.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do think just from a conceptual standpoint, I think I agree with what Steven said of, we're trying to carry on a very popular and successful platform and add some new things to it.
Yeah.
And maybe that veers into some things that people don't necessarily need or want, like the game chat, like... Is that the Glasses 3 3D of the 3DS?
Oh yeah, like some feature.
Where we are billing it as this must-have essential thing.
But no one uses it.
And maybe some portion just never engage with it.
I really want to talk about game chat next in our upcoming videos.
Oh, let's do that.
I'm really interested to hear what other people have to say about this feature. I have some thoughts about this feature too.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, just you bringing it up right now about how sometimes they add stuff in and they convince themselves oh yeah, this is the next gen thing that everybody wants, Glasses free 3D, but it ends up being something that literally it's I'll turn it on to look at it.
At least that had a wow factor when we first showed it off.
True.
It was like, oh my gosh, that technology had really never been seen before. Versus this is Discord.
Or Xbox.
Zoom or
Xbox 360.
any number of other video sharing services.
Right.
That are already.
I have some thoughts. I want to talk about it.
Okay, I'll look forward to that.
Great.
Wow.
I look forward to that.
Oh my gosh! As we wrap up this episode, don't forget to subscribe to us at patreon.com/KitandKrysta, where for just a few dollars a month, don't forget that early access. Get the free trial. Check out this free trial.
Yeah.
Get the early access. Get these episodes while they're fresh. This Discord is popping off daily, hourly, every moment.
The community is so
energized.
Exactly.
Yes.
Energized, and it's been so fun to just live through this with everybody,
And we got all this exclusive content. We got the bonus Q&As, we got the gameplay videos, we got the spoiler casts.
Yes.
And you get access to all of them.
Yes, you do.
Wow.
We are on the socials. We are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And if you're watching this on video on YouTube, you can please subscribe to this channel, give this podcast a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And if you are listening on audio, like Apple or Spotify, you can also subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating, and leave us a written review if you please. All these things help us out quite a bit.
Yeah, you were saying that you've been putting a lot more of our stuff on the audio feed.
Yeah,
so hopefully you guys are liking
these videos that we've been doing that are kind of podcasty in format. We've just been putting them out there because you add all sorts of nice visuals, but I wouldn't say those are essential to get the most out of these.
Listen to it, watch it, whatever.
Get it where you can.
Get it where you can. Yes, and you can leave all the reviews on all of those. That really does help us. For the last 10 minutes, there's been an ice cream truck outside. I don't know if you guys
So you're ready to go run out and get some ice cream.
But it has literally been outside playing the ice cream truck music for the last 10 minutes. And I'm very distracted by this ice cream truck. So we're going to wrap this episode up by shouting out our wonderful Patreon community, starting with Final Boss. Aaron Hash!
Shout out to Aaron Hash. What is Aaron Hash's favorite kind of ice cream? I don't know. Maybe he can tell us in the Discord. Yes, thank you.
All right, superstars. Ben Eichhorn.
Mario Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up, _
VGM Life.
Link, the hero of wins.
Angela Bycroft.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Ulf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crushuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kunles.
40 Gig.
Travis Torline.
Echo Ladere.
That's so Linnell.
MSM Poke Gamer.
And Cameron! Yay! Okay, here come the One Up Club. A. Ron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Andy Peachy.
Andy Robinson.
Angel 8.
Aristu.
Astrodev.
Awesome 46.
Axel.
Barnstorm.
Bates.
Ben GB.
Big and Gamer with a Y.
Brandon Kavapel.
Brent Dennison.
Brian Decker.
Brovak Novak.
Bruce Dash.
Bucky Flores.
Chadir.
Chili Squirrel.
Crispy Saurus.
Chris Galvin.
Christopher Lay.
Cosmic Titan 718.
Captain Alex.
C. Roper 17.
Dagdaleo.
Dallas E.
Daniel Phillips.
Dachshund.
Devi P.
Doinko.
Dre.
Duck.
Dude Dad Life Trilek.
Eccentric Tony.
Elite Peach.
Sparts 50.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Funky Hand.
Gamer Likes Anime.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Gin Wolf.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
Iris Marin.
Jay Rando.
Jack Hoving.
Jack 95.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Hemmerly.
Joshua Clements.
Jujufruit.
Justin Lemminger.
J Wolf.
Callan CPU57.
Kawa2796.
Keith Kwan.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kiba.
Krista Roddy Kid.
Christopia Party with me.
Kyle Gamerberry Rookie.
Kyle325.
Kyle Kretzer.
Kyle R. Smith.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Leviahu.
Lex.
Lightwood.
Link9898.
Lil Mikey.
Linko.
Light Latte.
Lit.
Lucas Pico.
Luigi53.
Luna B.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G and Callie Marie.
Mario Man 392.
Mark S.
Marky Man 64.
Maverick Nate.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
May plus Leon.
Michael Mazer.
Michael Wan.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pond.
Mr. Beans and It.
My Tran.
Namey.
Nasir.
Nigba Reeves.
Naif E.
Ninja 11.
Noah-san. Paperboat.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
Poke Digifan 20.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Punky.
Raintech.
R. Burns.
Record Rumble.
Rick Alvarado.
Rob M.
Rob O.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Ryan Hayes 521.
Ryan Haas.
Ryanetta.
Sebastiano Garase.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Schmiggles.
Slowbro.
Dazzle.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munchkin.
Starman DX.
Steel Citrone.
Pseudo Priest.
Tales of Link.
Tandem.
Tay 120 and 64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Kagers.
The Quiet One.
The Sharkamamen.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Torcheeks.
Totally Joed.
Totemaru.
Joey.
Trevtendo 88.
Tugs. Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tyler Geis.
Uncle Jungle.
Victor MK.
Video Game Stupid.
Vidge Mictor.
Viridian.
VirtualBot.
WG Grizzy.
YU.
Wicked Davy.
Zelgroth.
Zapati.
Zero Link.
Android.
Right. Ice cream truck is still there.
I guess we better stop then, because
stop.
you need ice cream.
I need ice cream.
All right.
See you guys later. Bye.